you. Welcome back to my channel. I wasn't sure whether I was going to come on or not, but Ken appeared on Sir mOrBiD's channel today, and Katie Joy was commenting from the audience. She did decline requests to go up. She had her opportunity where she could have gone and spoken to him face to face and, told her what she, everything, but she chose not to. Also, he also had, what was her name? Miss Lithium as well. And it was very interesting how all of that worked. So, yes. So we want to look at some of that, and then we want to find out, then we want to watch some of Ken's. And I'm sure people are going to put clips up even in the next few days. It was very, very interesting, but no more interesting than when Katie Joy joined. And I have some of the screenshots. Thank you to the Discord for that, because that they've for grabbing those screenshots. I was at work. All the fun happens when I'm at work. So it's definitely very, very interesting. So where do we start? Good question. Let's start at the very beginning. I'm not going to start. Let's look at Instagram, because that's a really good place to start. It's fair to say that Katie Joy is still going after Gypsy, and Ken addresses Katie Joy on the panel, and he doesn't have anything nice to say about her, which is very interesting. And he thinks that the biggest problem with Gypsy is that she confides in content creators, which is interesting because he thinks that Nick should spend all of his time in prison, but he doesn't have any.
What upsets me so much is everything that I have been through, okay? When I got to prison, I asked them if I could get therapy and really deal with the trauma that I went through. I received a notice that I didn't qualify for one-on-one therapy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that they would want to set you up and give you all of the tools that you would need to be as mentally stable,
right,
and to be as healed as possible, to come home into society. Why wouldn't they set up all of these programs? It always blows my mind.
Somebody sent me a clip of Gypsy talking to Kim Kardashian, and this is for you, Kim. Gypsy lied straight to your face. Straight to your face. Because all you got to do is fly a kite and you can go to mental health. I did it, and just for being afraid of mustard. Put me on a lie detector test. I want somebody to put me on a lie detector test. Seriously. Because she told me she did not need help. That she's fine. That's not true at all. You can get help in prison, and especially the prison that we went to, because I'm doing good. I took prison for what it was, and I did good. It teaches you stability. She even got in trouble for tricking men while she was there.
According to the Department of Corrections in Missouri's website, any prisoner that is in their system can get access to mental health care at any time. They can request mental health services at any time during their incarceration, not just at intake. Meaning her former roommate, Rachel, is correct. If someone's dealing with serious mental health issues and they want therapy and help to deal with their trauma, there are contracted therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists that come into the system, and all they have to do is make an appointment. That's it. Gypsy just didn't want help.
This is what upsets.
So this is what Katie wrote. Gypsy Rose Blanchard repeatedly lied that she did not qualify for therapy while in prison. According to Missouri Department of Corrections, all inmates have access to mental health care anytime. An initial evaluation is done at the beginning of intake. However, inmates can go to the mental health unit at any time and request one-on-one therapy. An initial Gypsy's former BFM and roomie Rachel stated that she got therapy for fears about mustard. Gypsy repeatedly declined to partake in therapy while incarcerated. There is a reason that therapy is a stipulation of her release. So we've got that one. In 2021, reports stated Gypsy was declining therapy in prison, and this is a screenshot from Christy. Exclusive Gypsy Rose Blanchard doesn't want counselling or any help. They didn't read you the article. Does she want counselling? I'm reading it now. Yes, she wants counselling. We're putting in the motion right now. What do you mean? In motion. Getting a therapist to see her in prison. We never said it to the public. Fans and her minions do not know all what we are doing. I talked to Melissa and they will get it shut down. Doesn't the prison offer counselling? Not enough, and she has, and he's doing counselling there. But we are just letting them hang themselves because they look pretty stupid. Then this bit's redacted. Yes, I agree. We will not give them any reaction. You can contact In Touch and clarify. Gypsy is at this point a public figure. Treated the case and taking the high road serves her best, in my opinion. It says in 2021, In Touch Weekly In Touch published an article. It says and article, A-N-D instead of A-N, that Gypsy Rose Blanchard was declining therapy in prison. She told multiple friends that she didn't need it. An article cites two people who claimed Gypsy told them she didn't need therapy. I sent the article to Christy Blanchard. Christy told me that Gypsy was in counselling at the prison, but the counselling wasn't enough. Christy insisted that they were going to arrange for private therapy to come to the prison for Gypsy. This absolutely never happened. Gypsy did meet with a psychologist for the show Prison Confessions. However, therapy for a show is not equivalent to one-on-one therapy on a regular basis. The therapy done at the end of her prison sentence was all a facade. Due to Gypsy's lack of involvement in therapy during her prison sentence, the parole board ordered that she complete an outpatient mental health program. Gypsy is only in therapy now because she has to, or she'll go back to prison. In fact, Gypsy has allegedly told multiple sources since her release that she doesn't need therapy. As a result, Gypsy is doing the bare minimum for therapy. Gypsy was 100% offered one-on-one therapy. The prison offers it to anyone in need of services. Numerous inmates from the same prison have gone on TikTok to state that therapy is accessible to all inmates. There is no reason for the DCC or other inmates to lie. Gypsy is lying because it continues to paint her the victim of a justice system that failed her. In an episode of January documentary, Gypsy said she deserved to be released because keeping her in prison won't bring her mother back to life. Since her release, she has denied her involvement in the crime. She's blamed her co-defendant for everything, and even says she doesn't identify as the M-word. I'll continue to report on this topic because it's beyond clear that the public remains completely gaslit by Gypsy and her lies. With all stories, I post in bursts on the topic and use posting videos. If you aren't happy with the coverage, you can unfollow. I certainly understand. Someone says, question, and genuinely curious. Since I know you flip-flopped on where you stood with them, did you know all of this, or are you just uncovering it all now? And she says, I've been going through old messages, texts and emails. This was a 5-year relationship. Obviously, I haven't remembered every single thing they told me. They did a lot of gaslighting on me in recent months. I just found these messages today. I forgot she told me this. This is why I'm sharing. I don't think Higgins and Reynolds is live streaming. Actually, I want to do a... No, I don't, and I don't think Reynolds is very keen for it to be live streamed either. It's a pretty nasty bit, because it's in the Supreme Court of WA. I don't think it is. I'm going to have a look and dig a little deeper, see if I can find it. You might be able to apply for a link, but I haven't seen anything to tell me that it is accessible to the public. I mean, I think it should be accessible to the public to view, because there's some serious allegations, and it also features an incident that occurred in federal parliament. So I personally think that it should be open to all. Ken Urquhart lost his mind on the live tonight. He called everyone that criticizes Gypsy a hater. He defended her crime, minimized her involvement, and accusing Nick of being the villain. Yes, I did hear that. He said he didn't deserve to come out of prison, and they were trying to indicate that Gypsy was trying to imply that Gypsy was the same as Nick, and he wasn't buying that she was the same as him, and it should definitely be. Of course, it's in the public interest. I think any defamation case featuring an Australian government politician should actually be public interest, which is still serving. So yes, I heard that today. He was really pointing Nick to be the villain, and when it was pointed out, he talked about all the surgeries. It sounds like that he has just whatever she's told him, he's believed. And when people said, "Well, she needed that surgery," he was not very happy that people were knowing lots of stuff. It's very interesting. It was very interesting. We'll watch some of it. We won't get it. It's a 5-hour live. He was on for a little while. So according to Katie, Ken looked like a fool. Ken called Gypsy a victim in a crime and unfortunate tragedy. Ken is brainwashed by Christy. I'm fully convinced that Christy is running her own cult at this time. I have to give him credit. He did go. He was invited to join, and he did do it. I have to give him credit, and he was very open and answered the questions that he could. So she's doing Brown videos and Gypsies. We're going to look at this because this best friend forever also was on SiR. Oh yeah, so here, this is shared by Alicia. It says, "This is one of my favorite dresses that was taken from me, and now Miranda is wearing it. Not the first time I've seen her with the clothes she kind of took from me." And then she says, "Why is Miranda wearing Alicia's old clothes? I thought she wasn't a member of the church." Who wasn't a member of the church? I'd like to do a who wore it better though. So let's look at, first of all, this video that Katie did on Gypsy Rose on this, and then we'll go to Sir mOrBiD. Ken also said he's 110% sure that the child is his. He also stated that they started talking properly in February, and they didn't actually get intimate with each other until April. And when it was put to him about him being cheating, in his mind, he said she had left him by that part, so that's okay. So it was there's a lot, and he also said that he is working. He does work as a bartender, but he doesn't want the place to get out where he's working because it's going to be very difficult for him. But he was very, and he said that Gypsy knew that he was going to be on this live, and Sir mOrBiD has arranged to do a man-to-man, one-on-one interview with him at a later date, and ask some more questions. It did get a bit hard because people were just firing questions at him left, right, and centre. It was a bit chaotic at times, and he was just trying to answer all their questions. And so Yes, it was very, very interesting. But anyway, here is Katie Joy's video from today. And then we'll get on to the other stuff. All right, I'm going to speed this up as I do. Playback speed 1.5 and subtitles on. So even if you can't hear, you can read along at home.
Before a month, right after she left, Gypsy texted me a bunch of pregnancy tests and said she was pregnant. Okay, well, who's the father? And it could have been me or Ken at that point. So she didn't know. She was like, I don't know. The previous month, she sent me pictures of pregnancy tests, but this time there's no pictures, no proof. So like, I don't know what to believe. Like, it's one of those like, I don't believe it. I still don't. You know, it's hard for me to wrap my head around it.
Little Miss Lithium said she used to. She also sent Aussie pregnant tests around, and then when she said she was pregnant the next time, that she didn't send the pregnancy tests around. Hello, Lulu. So a lot of the stuff that we're hearing, Little Miss Lithium is Katie's source at the moment. So.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, August 1st, 2024, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. The many lies of Gypsy Rose Blanchard continue to unravel. The last episode of her show.
It amazes me how vindictive KJ gets when things don't go her way. She goes in hard. Will be her undoing one day. Yes, it will be. As I said, I think I said yesterday that this vindictiveness, remember, with one of the elements of defamation on a public figure in Minnesota is malice. And definitely you can say that it's malicious. Ken actually said, I think he couldn't, he's in shock that somebody that could have been a friend could do that to another friend. He did not have a nice word to say about Katie Joy at all. And someone must have contacted Katie to tell her that he was in the channel, because she was in there, and as I said, she was invited up to join the panel. She could have, you know, spoken to Ken and put some stuff to him, but she chose to just make comments in the background. So, which I thought was a bit odd. If I wasn't at work, I probably would have been. I would have liked to have asked questions. I mean, as people say, as it was pointed out to Ken, people have questions, and it's not because we're being mean. It's about trying to make sense of everything, because there's lots of things not making sense. And that's really, for me, what the timing's not making sense. And he, as I said, he confirmed the timeline. And so they didn't get intimate with each other until April, 1st of April. She was a coward. She would prefer to sit and make comments in the chat.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Life After Lockup, aired last week. And on the episode, we found out that Gypsy was pregnant. Gypsy asserted that she was pregnant and that Ken was the father, and that there.
I'm shocked someone would manipulate a mentally disabled man into. Well, somebody put that to Ken and said, well, hang on a minute, you know. And he still denies it. He still denies that Ken was manipulated. In fact, Ken actually implied that it was Nick that was manipulating Gypsy. So he is buying the story. I'm more inclined to believe Nick. His story has not changed. He's maintained the same story. I mean, people who tell the truth. I was watching, but I couldn't chat because I was at work, Lulu. Technically I was working. So I just had to just keep an eye on things. I saw some of it, but not all of it. But I couldn't chat. I actually had headphones on, so I mean that was a good thing. Lots of people thought I was working.
There was no possibility for Ryan to be the dad. Span cut to producers asking Ryan, and Ryan says, last month, Gypsy sent me a photograph of a pregnancy test that was positive, and I asked her who the father was, and she didn't know. Well, now one of her friends that is in prison, Millie, Amelia Bird, and her girlfriend have told me that Gypsy told them in April that she was pregnant. In fact, Zora, who is Millie's girlfriend, revealed that photographs of the positive pregnancy were sent on the Securus video chat photo, which is for inmates.
On Gypsy's narrative that she's less responsible because she didn't. Yes, that's right. He's saying because she didn't stab, she didn't do the action, then she can't be responsible. And it was interesting because someone talked about the fact about the, using the BB gun on, and he let that one fly through to the keeper. He was very selective in what he answered. But yes, he's definitely on Gypsy's narrative. I mean, of course he's going to defend her. He also said the timing of the two relationships, his and Gypsy's his relationship with Ryan and the relationship with his ex-wife, that all that happened coincidentally as far as timing is concerned. I knew that there was. I thought it was interesting that Katie Joy refers to Christy as Krusty, because that's what we all call her too.
It's on Ryan's Securus account from Ryan's account to Millie. So Ryan can see what's happening on Securus account because it's his account. So she was logging into Ryan's account, even though Ryan and her had left and weren't together, right? She was still using Ryan's account. She contacted Millie, and then she sent a photograph of the positive pregnancy test to Millie, who is Amelia Bird, and told everyone in the middle of April that she was pregnant. So everyone finds out in April that she's pregnant. Her friends in the prison, it all starts circulating in the prison. People start talking about the pregnancy, and Gypsy learns that it's going around the prison, and she says,
was Gypsy in the chat? See, I didn't see Gypsy in the chat. So that must have been after I'd gone, but I would have thought it would have been great. But he was saying that Gypsy wasn't with him at the time either. So.
Not to worry about it, right? She admits to telling her friend Lucky. So the way it was shared with me is it was around April 17th that they found out that she was pregnant, which would have been right after she had her rhinoplasty. And in fairness, if she was very early in her pregnancy, she could have very well tested negative before she had her rhinoplasty. So
this is the picture that with Lithium or Zara. She was there under Sugar Sunday. Of course she was. Sugar Sunday. Of course she was there. That Zara said that was sent to them. So that she said she'd given all the photos to Katie Joy. I think that's playing with fire, but anyway.
She sends the photograph April 17th, according to Zora, says she's pregnant, and then is super excited, never tells anyone that she gets her period, never tells anyone that she has any kind of miscarriage, never says that she had a false positive. And then later in May, when she's with Ken, and she again takes another pregnancy test, she changes her story. So she takes a pregnancy test again in May to find out she's still pregnant. Gypsy then tells everyone in May that she's actually pregnant this time with Ken's baby. And how does she explain this? She says, well, I had...
That picture was listed and quickly deleted from Gypsy's account. Wow.
A false positive. That wasn't really a positive pregnancy test.
I must say I've never heard of false positives. I've heard of false negatives. I've never heard of someone getting a positive test that wasn't pregnant, but I've heard of people thinking they weren't pregnant but were pregnant. I've not seen those ones.
Makes no mention of having a period. Makes no mention of any of it. She just says, "Well, that was a false positive. I wasn't pregnant in April, but I am pregnant now." Now, the weird thing is that Zora and Millie have the exact same story as Ryan, because the photograph was again sent to Millie through Ryan's account, which is where they were communicating illegally. This is what Gypsy got in trouble for. So
it could have been a chemical pregnancy. If we're giving the benefit of the doubt, it could have been a chemical pregnancy. Is that right?
It's very possible, and I'm just spitballing here. Ryan may have logged into his account. He could have seen that Gypsy was communicating with people, and he very well could have reported Gypsy to her parole officer for communicating with Millie when he found out that she was pregnant and that she was sharing pregnancy pictures with inmates. That's just my guess. All of this is happening on recorded video and audio recorded accounts that you can log into with inmates, or else someone else logged into Ryan's account and looked at who Ryan was communicating with, or they logged into Millie's account to see who Millie was communicating with. Either way, that's where this all took place, and that's how this all ends up getting over to the PO. So now Gypsy is trying to tell people that she wasn't pregnant in April. She's really pregnant now, and it's absolutely positively Ken's baby. She had an ultrasound in June, and she's telling her OB that her last period was in April, not in March. like she was before when she was pregnant in April. Now, ultrasound.
You think that Katie reported her? Well, it's interesting because I've got a clip that's going with Zora. Now, I have to say, I'm not sure that I fully believe her either, by the way, but that's just my opinion. You know, I don't know. You've had the opposite, false negatives.
Ultrasounds can measure the size of a fetus and the size of an embryo and the size of a baby as it grows, but there is some wiggle room. And if due dates are not correct, and because they always typically go off your last birth, like if you're telling the doctor this is the last day of my period, whatever. So she's telling everyone that she's due in January. Well, then someone showed up in my comments who's local in Cutoff and said that Christy has been telling friends, allegedly, that Gypsy is due in December. I remember when Gypsy told me she was pregnant, I thought it was really weird how she explained this to me. And she made me think that she was telling me the day after she found out she was.
So that's interesting. So if she's due in December, then it can't be Ken's because Ken admitted that they did not get intimate until the 1st of April. So interesting, hey? He said that on mOrBiD's live. He was asked. They were communicating in February, but they did not get intimate until that meeting in April. So I'm still. I mean, he must have some great swimmers, to be honest with you. Yes, April Fools to be exact. He must have some great swimmers to get perfect aim straight away. He should be in the Olympics with aim like that. Well, I'm still thinking that it's all fake.
It's pregnant. The reality.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's not all fake, to be honest with you. But look, I don't know.
Was she had already known she was pregnant. So what she said to me was I was confronting her about her behavior online, the fact that she was bullying people. I was confronting her about clout chasing by going on the Kardashians, by not doing advocacy work, by being so obviously chasing fame, saying that I didn't support her behavior. I didn't support the life.
You could say it was premature, but, you know, I've never seen a big full-term premature baby. In all fairness, either. A 9-pound premie. It'll be a record, right? 9-pound premie.
I didn't support any of it. And almost to stop the conversation in the track, she's like, well, I'm pregnant. And I said, oh, really? When did you find out? Well, I just found out yesterday. It was in the 20s of May that she tells me this, maybe the 25th. So in the end of May, she tells me I'm pregnant and I just found out yesterday. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, oh, really? How far along are you? And she's like, well, like 4 or 5 weeks. And I was like, you got a pregnancy test that quickly? She's like, well, I was late and yesterday and I took a pregnancy test. And I'm like, that's wow. You were late like 1 day. Now, I don't know how you guys found out that you were pregnant, but and everybody has different stories. When I found out I was pregnant, I was like 5.5 weeks, meaning I was like more than a week and a half late on my period. And a lot of the home pregnancy tests will not give you a positive until you're at least 4 or 5 days late.
Oh, here we go. Gypsy call it a world's record for the. Here we go. Medical.
Because you have to have so much of the hormone in your urine for it to finally test positive. And in order for it to test positive, you have to have a certain level of a specific hormone in your urine for it to come out that you're pregnant. It's more common on a pregnancy test to get a false negative than it is to get a false positive. False positives can happen, but they're more rare than a false negative. It's also common that when you first get pregnant, within the first few weeks, you have.
In chat, she's saying the baby's been tested and is fine. You can't test the mother's blood to check baby health. She'd have to have an amni, which they don't do till second trimester. That's not true. The test nowadays can tell you the day you're late. I thought they were a lot more accurate. I mean, when I was pregnant 24 years ago, that was the case, but not now. I thought they were a lot more advanced. And blood tests, they can tell you pretty early on as well, can't they?
Spotting, which is called implantation, bleeding. And so it's not uncommon for some women to not realize they're pregnant until 2 missed periods because they think they had their period the first month, but in reality, what they had was implantation spotting and cramping. So the friends don't buy what she's selling. They don't believe that she's actually going to have this baby in January. They suspect the baby will come in December, and they don't know who the father is. If it is due in December, it could either be either Ryan or Ken, because she was still trying to get pregnant with Ryan up until she left him. Like they were going to have a baby, and then they have a fight and she starts talking to Ken and she leaves him. So a theory this friend dropped was that they said, I think Millie and Zora was speculating that because she doesn't know who the father is, it's plausible, knowing how Gypsy lies, that she would tell Ken that it's his baby, it's only his baby, and she would change the conception date to only when she was with him and not when she was with both of them.
Which when you'd like to get positive on the first day of the missed periods is the test, I think, after 3 days. Okay.
Overlap in that month of March and April when she would have had sex with both the guys. March with Ryan, April with Ken. And instead, she would tell Ken that it's not possible that it's Ryan so that he wouldn't leave her. Because if he were to find out when they got back together that she was already pregnant with Ryan's baby, he may or may not want to be with Gypsy, like, and might not be interested in raising some other man's child, right? So in order to keep him with her, they think they're lying to Ken. Now, it very well could be Ken's baby, but she could be lying that it's absolutely his baby because she doesn't know and she doesn't want him to leave. Gypsy has lied about pregnancies so many times. And this is another thing they said. So Zora was telling me that Gypsy literally told her that she was pregnant with Nick's baby when she was in prison, and that she had a miscarriage when she got into jail, and that's why.
So that's interesting. Isn't that interesting?
And that it's getting arrested is the fault for why she lost Nick's baby. She also told Nick that she was pregnant after they met in March of 2015, and that she lost the baby. She lost the baby after her mom changed her feeding tube. And that's
she used the same ruse with Nick and told him her mum made her miscarry by having a feeding. Well, I mean, that's why I'm saying it's not going to surprise me whether she loses the baby, because although this Zara or Miss Lithium said that she got the ultrasound photos and there is a baby there. Definitely, well, there's something there. So I don't know.
That's why. So Gypsy has lied in the past about actually being pregnant. Now, I know that she is pregnant because Zora actually sent me video of Gypsy at the doctor's office with the confirmation that she's pregnant. And I'm sharing these with Zora's permission. Check it out.
Here we go.
Oh my God. They're going to do an ultrasound next time.
Yeah, the ultrasound will be next time.
It's confirmed for Oh my God. Everyone, how is feeling about
We're
it?
gonna be okay.
No, good. It's, to see it is but to hear it.
So she was in the doctor's office and she gets the positive pregnancy. And then Step Monster Christy is calling Ken.
Step Monster. Who's their Step Monster now?
To tell Ken that Gypsy's pregnant. Can you imagine your step monster being this involved in your life? Like, you can't even call your boyfriend and tell him you're pregnant yourself. But did you hear Ken at the very end? He's like, do you have anything on a screen? Because he still didn't believe it. Like, he said he knew it, but then he said he wanted like proof, like, because Gypsy literally lies, right? So they then had to film another video of the nurse actually saying she was pregnant so that they could show Ken that she was pregnant and that she was having a baby because he wanted to see proof.
Okay, say it again. Tell her what? Say it again.
She's pregnant.
Will I have an ultrasound today?
So it won't be today. So the way ultrasounds work is you have to be at least 7 to 8 weeks before you can actually see something. So right now, you'll see a development of something, but you won't really see much of it. Okay. So we have to wait till you get a little further along, okay? But we'll definitely get that scheduled.
Yeah.
Ultrasound, blood work, that kind of stuff.
So they film it like they don't know that she's pregnant, and then they make her say it, and then she asks if she's going to have an ultrasound, and you can tell that Gypsy's acting because she already knows she's not going to have an ultrasound, and they tell her it's too early.
Ooh. Sociopath, narcissist, and Gypsy for being a sociopath. Like, it's interesting, isn't it, how that works? Interesting how that works. But Ken denies that any of that was correct, but then, as I said, he's believing Gypsy's side of the story.
Trying to show this for the show. Like they were filming this for the show. They were going to put this on the show, although that's not what Gypsy told Zora. I said, why would she send you these videos? And Zora said, well, because she said that she wanted me to be there with her. She wanted me to experience this with her. I was like, that's strange. Like maybe for Millie, I don't know. But she sent these videos to them so that everyone would believe her that she's pregnant and she would have proof to give to Ken and that she would have for the show. There's even a second video where they actually try to do an ultrasound on her stomach, but they can't pick up even a heartbeat and they can't pick up the baby because she's too early. Ultrasounds, I think they don't usually do them in the first trimester until like after 9 weeks, because before that they are hard to find because the embryo and the fetus is so small. So I don't know how many weeks she was. I don't know where she was at when this was.
Well, it would have been interesting. Well, if they couldn't, maybe, of course. So she's good friends with, I mean, that Zara mentioned Katie Joy a few times today to say that they're exchanging notes, and she was friends with Gypsy and KJ was friends with Kirsty, and they exchanged notes to find out what they'd been told about the other. Well, according to him, he's got a job. That's what he said in the live. He said, I've got a job. Hello, short order. Ken joined the Sir mOrBiD. Did you watch any of that?
Was filmed. I don't know when this was filmed. It might have been in May, for all I know. Regardless, Gypsy's sending this to people on the internet, and that's what I have for you. And obviously, as you heard, Ken wanted proof. So I don't know where she's at with her pregnancy. Here's the thing. If she was, give or take, off by 4 weeks and claiming that she was literally only 4 or 5 weeks pregnant at this point, theoretically, if she really was pregnant in April and they couldn't pick up anything on the ultrasound because they couldn't pick up a heartbeat, they couldn't pick up the baby's image on the ultrasound, she could have been 8 or 9 weeks and they still couldn't pick it up. The early ultrasounds, when you're very newly pregnant, are very hard to find if you just go on top of the belly. And a lot of doctors, in order to do an ultrasound early, would have to do it up your lady parts. That's how I saw my child for the very first time at 9 weeks. They didn't try to do that with Gypsy on the camera. So she could be anywhere from 4 to 9 weeks in this video. Who knows? So she is pregnant. At least that's what the doctor says here. But her friends still, despite this, do not know that she's pregnant with Ken's baby. They're still not sure that it's Ken's baby. And they also told me that with Ryan, that Ryan has been saying online that he's not sure that it's his baby. He doesn't think.
Yeah, well, I thought that too. Excuse me. And this is like
that it's his baby. He's been very cautious about what he says about the pregnancy or what he says about the baby, because I think he just doesn't know what to think or feel. And because they're going through a divorce, he may not want to say anything about the paternity of the baby until there's actually DNA and a paternity test that shows who the father is. Because if they were to get divorced and he's the father and he was to claim the father and the divorce was finalized before they could do a paternity test, he's presumptively the dad. And if it's not your child and you're considering child support here, you don't want to presumptively assume that it's your child. So you're going to be as cautious as possible. That's how the friends were explaining to me, that he might not want to say anything. And he also might not want to disparage anything because he could be the father. And so until he knows definitively, he's not going to say. And he said he has to do a paternity test because it's the law. So Gypsy is lying about that. Another interesting thing that she lied about is therapy. So she was recently on the Kardashians and she told Kim Kardashian that she didn't get therapy while she was in prison because she didn't qualify it for it. However, one of her friends from prison, Rachel.
Yeah, we'll try and find it on mOrBiD's video, but I want you to see the other person first. The other person that KJ has doubled up with, and plus I give him credit going on to a panel, but he said he wanted to clear up some misinformation.
Disputed that and debunked it on TikTok yesterday.
Somebody sent me a clip of Gypsy talking to Kim Kardashian. And this is for you, Kim. Gypsy lied straight to your face. Straight to your face. Because all you got to do is fly a kite and you can go to mental health. I did it, and just for being afraid of mustard. Put me on a lie detector test. I want somebody to put me on a lie detector test. Seriously. Because she told me she did not need help. That she's fine. That's not true at all. You can get help in prison. And especially the prison that we went to, because I'm doing good. I took prison for what it was, and I did good. It teaches you stability. She even got in trouble for tricking men while she was there.
So she says, Rachel says that when she was in the Chillicothe Women's Correction Facility, she was able to get therapy for being afraid of mustard, whatever that means, and that anyone can go to mental health. What I did is I went online and I went on to Chillicothe's correctional facility mental health and what you can do there. And it basically says that there's multiple ways that an inmate can get help in the system. So they do an initial intake when somebody actually comes in. And
actually, I wanted to ask somebody to ask Ken, why they went to the Ritz. And did he know about the cheaters room? But
and based on that intake and how that questionnaire and all the information is provided to them. So Gypsy has to be honest, right, on her intake, and then they will tell her whether or not she qualifies. However, after intake, the website says that if an inmate is struggling and needs help with mental health, that mental health is available for everyone. And that all they have to do is contact the mental health department and they can make an appointment. And Rachel actually did a second TikTok, which basically confirmed that, where she said, all you have to do is contact mental health, let them know that you want to see a therapist and schedule an appointment. And I know that some people say that like, that's not optional or that doesn't happen or what's offered in the system is awful. I can only go off what they're saying. Rachel says she got therapy there. I know that Christy actually told me in 2021 that Gypsy was getting therapy. And I actually just found these text messages because back in 2021, a story was published on In Touch, and two people that knew Gypsy, Fancy Maselli and then Titania, who was a friend of Dee Dee's, who had been in contact with Gypsy as well, told In Touch in 2021 that Gypsy was denying that she needed therapy and she wasn't taking the steps to work with the therapists in the prison because she said she didn't need help. And the article goes up on In Touch, and Christy actually sends me what the article says, and it says, Gypsy Rose Blanchard doesn't want counseling or any help in prison. And I said, they didn't redo the article. Does she want counseling? And Christy said, I'm reading it now. Yes, she does want counseling. We are putting.
Yes, it is that friend, the friend of the, yes. I think the fact that he didn't get discouraged, I think there were too many people on chat. I think they should have cleared the chat. That's just my thought. They should have cleared some of those people out. But that's just my thing, because he it was very, very, very interesting.
Putting that in emotion right now. And I said, what do you mean in emotion? And she says, getting her a therapist to go see her in prison. But we never said it in the public. Fancy and her minions do not know all that we're doing. I talked to Melissa and they will get it shut down. Melissa Moore, who's from the series. So what they were doing was trying to get a therapist that was willing to be videoing Gypsy doing therapy. So you know how you saw on Prison Confessions, how she was speaking to that psychologist right before she left? That's what they were talking about. Gypsy basically did the bare minimum for therapy. And she only did that basically to satisfy the parole board. But I said to Chrissy, but doesn't the prison offer counseling? And she says, not enough. And she has and is doing counseling there. So Chrissy told me in 2021 that Gypsy was doing counseling in prison, but it wasn't enough for Gypsy. And she says, but we just are letting them hang themselves because they will look stupid when it all comes out. So Gypsy, she says, was doing counseling in 2021. Gypsy said she didn't get counseling and she didn't qualify for counseling. There is counseling available. And Gypsy told Fancy, Titania, Rachel, and even Zora and Millie that she didn't want and didn't believe she needed help. Now, what is she doing now? Because Gypsy didn't take part in mental health therapy while she was in prison and didn't complete that part of her being reformed. Like, part of it is dealing with the trauma and your mental illness that brought you to this place. She is mandated to complete an outpatient mental health.
And the other thing he was talking about was Gypsy's trauma and everything like that. But yeah, it was very interesting. So I want to show you some of the guests. This is and then that guest, and then Ken, and then you can make up your own mind of the people themselves. I have my own views on them, but you need to make your own decisions.
Program. When she was in prison, it wasn't a part of her sentence that she had to do mental health therapy. They didn't make it a requirement of her sentence. So when they paroled her, they made it a requirement of her parole, and that they would parole her if she would do therapy. So what is Gypsy doing? The bare minimum. She's doing telehealth therapy. She's not even going to a facility, and she's doing it maybe once a week, not intensive outpatient programs the way that her parole and probation has ordered. They want her in an outpatient program. She's doing telehealth, meaning she's not even seeing the therapist face to face. And given how well Gypsy can manipulate people,
Who else do we know has been using telehealth? Unfortunately, we can get doctors to come in the middle of the night. You have to wait for a while, but we can get a doctor come into the house in the middle of the night if we want to, after hours. Sometimes it's a 4-hour wait, but it's a lot quicker doing that than actually waiting at the hospital. So, and I've done that a couple of times. It was the same doctor, actually, quite ironically.
I have no doubt she's manipulating a telehealth therapist. So Gypsy is lying about not getting access to therapy. She's lying about not qualifying. She's currently lying about what she's doing in therapy, and she's lying about her pregnancy. What are your thoughts? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. If you have information that you would like to share, let me know. And make sure to click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, everyone.
So that was her live. Okay, so now let's go. Is it? Look, it can be up to an 8-hour wait. Depends on the day and the time. But if you have to wait 4 hours for a doctor to come and see you at home, as opposed to having to wait for 8 hours, it's I think it's just a benefit. Okay, so little Miss Lithium, I just wanted to show you, play you a little bit of this, and then I don't think he keeps his chat. Yes, he did keep his chat. All right. So who did you say? Sugar Sunday. I did not pick up Sugar Sunday. Timestamps. Oh, yeah, and sugar. It's not found it. All right, let's look at sugar. I haven't quite worked out how this works, but anyway. I know it's supposed to be good. Yeah, oh, let me search. She was in the, she was in the live chat. That was, oh yes, there's no live chat, is there? No. No, there's no chat replay. You're correct, yeah. Ken said she's in the other room. Apparently, she was in the other room. Really? Okay, so let's have a listen to this.
To you if I say so much. So here's my phone number. Call me if you want to get your story out. And he never did. And so I messaged his friend because I've been in contact with a friend of his for a while now, actually, since I was friends with Gypsy. And I told her about it, and she was like,
the person talking is with Lithium.
Oh, well, you fucking dum-dum. He's in the middle of an appeal, so he can't respond. he can't give you his story.
So were you in contact with Katie Joy?
Yeah.
Okay. So this just basically says that Gypsy was violating her parole. Yeah. Tell us about it, as Starlight asks, because I'm just going to have it here. It says your name, providing her with all the receipts. Talk about it.
It's going to blow up in your face.
Oh, I was going to say it's interesting because it sounds like Amelia's case was similar to Heather Waldorf's case, Rod Farrell's girlfriend. Yeah. If anybody knows who that is, where he wanted to run away with her and he took her parents out.
Yeah, I just don't see the manipulation in Amelia's case that Gypsy had. Gypsy had all control.
Okay, so we're waiting for a question, an answer to this question about Katie Joy.
Over Nicholas, and used and abused him and threw him under the bus. In the
Amelia had no control over anything ever. Yes, and Amelia, she had no control in anything.
And she was 16 versus her boyfriend that was 22, I believe, 21 or 22.
Yeah, and Heather Windorf never went to prison.
Well, not only her boyfriend that was 22, but her boyfriend that her parents weren't aware of just everything she was doing. And Chad Brantley was actually a friend of the family. Chad Brantley was friends with her dad's best friend. So he had stuff to hold over her head. Chad had plenty to hold over.
Is that the Chad that Gypsy keeps talking about when she talks about Chad? I do find that she's had. I do find at times it's very hard to keep track of what's going on in this chat.
For her head and manipulate her with. Whereas Gypsy was the manipulator in her case.
So in this post by Katie Joy, what's her name? Without a Crystal Ball, You want to talk about that if you can? The violation
Yeah,
of parole.
so so she was talking to not only my girlfriend but several other inmates, and she got caught. I don't know who reported her. It wasn't me. Oh, honesty, you guys, because if it was me,
We
I'd
don't
say
care. We wish
allegedly
it was you.
wasn't. I wish it was me too. God damn it! I really wish it was, but it wasn't.
So there's more people
I don't
that
think
hate
it
her.
was
Go ahead.
Ryan.
Shocking.
Her Securus account, like, so her Securus account was on Ryan's phone and in his name. So like she was emailing inmates in his name, but answering calls on her personal phone. And so, I mean, Ryan could have reported her for it because he's the only person who had proof besides me.
I bet he.
But
has
the
it.
possibility of that
Actually,
not going to happen because he still thinks he has a chance with Gypsy.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting. Because
now
he mentioned he was going to have her texts and records subpoenaed. I wonder if
I
that
hope
has
he
something to do with
does.
He
it.
said he had them.
I
The
really
V
hope.
must be fire. The V.
If he did,
oh my goodness.
It's like red
The
hot
T
tamales.
is fire, I'll tell you that.
Hotter than the sun.
Yeah, if he handed
But,
that stuff over to his lawyer, I could see his lawyer reporting it.
Well, even that, but they listened to the calls on the prison phone, and I'm sorry, but she was in prison there. And if you're listening, if you're one of the, wardens and you're listening in on the line and you hear, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, you're gonna know it's Gypsy Rose fucking Blanchard.
You need a lawyer.
it's not.
Who are you talking to? Your 4-year-old niece, or is that Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Let's do some quick math here, okay?
So this is the Ken was watching this, and he was in the chat for a while before he was able to get on there. The people didn't believe him at first.
Hey,
what are you talking about?
They could have had that. I don't know who reported her, but yeah, she got a violation for it, and she texted me and said, tell Millie I can't take calls from the prison anymore because I got a violation and I'm on my last one. And I'm like, girl, you just sent a message to an inmate. Like,
Right?
you're having me give a message to an inmate for you.
Well,
That's legit passing messages.
That's funny.
It literally is.
Go up to court.
She's not very bright, clearly.
No, I don't think she's leveled up educational wise anywhere since the Royal Mashed Potatoes video. Let's be so honest. She's still the same 20-year-old girl who went in her Cinderella dress to have some Royal Mashed Potatoes.
In all fairness, I could see her parole officer saying like, okay, that last message is okay because you're letting her know, but I still think that she shouldn't have.
She can still get in trouble for that.
I think that was a bad idea on her behalf. And on top of that, I mean, like, it just further shows that she really thinks the rules don't apply to her. Whether she had permission to do it or not, she thinks the rules don't apply to her. And the way her parole officer's acting, they honestly kind of don't.
How many violations is she allowed before it's like,
3. She's on her 3rd.
She's on her 3rd right now.
3 strikes, and then you're like, all right, okay.
Do all parolees get 3 strikes, or is it just Gypsy Rose?
Right.
Well, I mean, most Make-A-Wish kids only get 1 wish, but she got 3, so maybe it's the same way.
Yeah. So now Ken also accuses little Miss Lithium of being high on drugs, of being a heroin addict, and says that's why that Gypsy had to cut off contact with her because she was a drug abuser.
One when she wasn't a kid.
Why is it that Gypsy Rose is like trying to advocate or pretend to fake advocate for Amelia when they're no longer friends?
Oh my god, yeah, literally like 45 minutes after our blow up argument, and she blocked me on everything. I'm on my lurking account on TikTok watching her live because somebody told me she was live and I wanted to see what she had to say. And this little bitch is stuffing her face talking about my girlfriend's case, and she's not even like getting like everything straight. She's just like, yeah, my boyfriend Amelia serving 18 years, or I've been in there 18 years serving, 2 life sentences because her boyfriend killed her parents. The whole time she's like stuffing her face.
She's crazy.
I'm like, nothing says I care like shoving food down your fucking throat while you forget specific key details and my crime.
So this is the person Katie Joy's getting her information from, just so that you know.
I love the way you put that. I'm sorry.
Because what? Like, that felt so disrespectful. Like, do you think I sit here and shove my face with a cold turkey sandwich when I talk about what I found on fucking Fancy Maselli's Patreon? Do you think I can stuff my face while I talk about your mom having her head almost cut off with a Walmart kitchen knife? Like, that's just not normal human behavior. I swear to God, she's a sociopath. I believe it. Katie Joy believes it. Her stepmom, Christy, believes it. Christy's secretly afraid of her.
Well, and I was going to ask you that actually, from what I understand,
now we get a different perspective on why she had to marry. But yeah, there are too many people on panel, and that's what I think is the downside with the Ken thing, with Ken being on there. It was very hard, and it was at times like an ambush, which I did feel for him at some point in time too. All right, so she's going to give us another reason why Gypsy married Ryan. Yes, him.
An appeal, if somebody says something, because you mentioned like somebody can badmouth you and the appeal get denied. I remember hearing, or I believe I heard somewhere, that Christy made a comment to one of the people that were involved that she was afraid of Gypsy, which is why Gypsy couldn't be paroled to Christy and Ken's, which would explain why she made the comment in Prison Confessions, I have to be released to family, which is why she married Ryan.
Right.
Wow.
Do you know if that happened? Do you know if Christy said anything about her being afraid to like the parole board or anything?
All Katie, because Katie will know better than me. So Katie Joy was best friends with Christy.
I believe it.
And I was best friends with Gypsy. So that's like, we had our falling outs around the same time. So like, we match information, and that's how we figure out what's a lie and what's the truth at this point. Because Gypsy, obviously, she can't keep up with her lies. And Christy, quite frankly, we think she might be high on pills. So
she acts like it.
She
seems
does,
like she's a bit drinky face all the time.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, she constantly looks like she's like drunk off her ass. Like
and this is just betting because I
doesn't wash her hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say she looks like she hasn't washed her hair in 2 months.
There's crawfish living in her hair, dude.
Well, that's right. They're relying on. Yeah, I know. That's the thing that concerns me as well. But what can you do?
Swear.
mOrBiD.
It's wild. It's really wild.
Yes.
Share the screen. There's a screen back there.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Starlight. Let me see here. Here we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, the tea.
What is this?
So this was her message to me. Her message to me for an inmate to let me know she can't send any more messages to inmates.
Wow.
Millie is Amelia. They call her Millie.
Millie is her nickname.
Yes.
Wow. Later on, I'll probably release some of our text messages about Kim Kardashian too. But I'm kind of nervous about that because we had to use a code name for her because we didn't want Millie to get put in the hole for getting coverage.
She's producing.
So we were called.
Well, to be honest with you, Lulu, I thought she sounded a bit high the way that she's talking. So I'm going to skip a little bit more forward. Oh no, she does. That's KJ's new best friend, by the way. I think he came on a little bit later. There he is. He's there. Okay, so here we go. So you're going to see people are going to say it could be Ryan's.
No, that's not what I said. I said
No,
late
he said
February.
that's
Was
Did say something and Ian took it.
I mean, I personally think she sounded high, and I don't know how credible
She come up or what? What are we
I
waiting
think
for?
everybody should have a chance to speak their mind, though. Like legit, I think everybody should have a chance to speak their mind, even if you disagree. That's
We have a guy
one thing
named
I really like
Ken
about
in
this.
the back. I don't know if it's really Ken, but you want to give it a shot?
Sure.
Let's give it a shot. Ken? Is this Ken? Is this the real Ken?
Oh yeah, this is the real Ken.
Oh my God.
Is it really
You
or
know about
no?
the twang in my voice? Can't you tell?
So yes, the real Ken joins. So I don't know. We'll get through all of this. So it was pretty painful at times.
No, not really.
No, I can't.
This is him.
No, it's
Kenny.
not.
Is it really
Wait,
Ken?
real Ken.
Is that?
That sure is. I thought this was like a Discord situation, but I guess
Or
this is-
Kizzo,
yeah, yeah. What's up, y'all?
What's up,
The
dude?
real Ken, because he's got.
So
a
I don't
kid.
recognize most of you guys. I do
He's
know
got-
who Hate T Joyless is. I've seen your tweets about me. And hello, Starlight. I've heard about you, but everybody else I'm unfamiliar with you. So
Well,
forgive
Ken,
me.
Okay.
Well,
it is
hello. Now
Ken.
you are.
That is-
Hello.
What's up, Ken?
What's going on?
hey Ken. So
Hello.
You
are
tell
you
me.
are you employed right now, or what's
I
going on?
am employed. It's funny misinformation. I mean, almost everything about me on the internet is lies and misinformation for the most part. But I am employed. However, obviously, because I work in the service industry as a bartender in the public domain, I don't want to release
You
where
could-
I work. I don't
yeah.
want to
Hell
get
no.
doxed
Well,
and
that's
found out.
okay. People were
wouldn't do that either.
speculating that you
I
worked
think
at.
that eventually, though, it will come out where I work. Somebody's going to recognize me at some point.
Well, I'm sure.
and
They are.
Probably. But
Yeah,
as of right now,
unfortunately.
that has not been put out there. So, but yes,
Is it
fine.
true? I mean, people were speculating that you work at Applebee's, but I
No.
don't think so.
I mean, that's just like a dig, I think. But no, I don't work at Applebee's.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
So what's up with this grinder activity? I mean, and there's a Steve Wood, and you want to talk
Yeah.
about that and squash
Sure, why
that?
not? I mean, I feel like I've already squashed this before, but it just keeps coming up because I think the reality is that people just
And the other thing is, he talks about. He says he did 4 hours of recording and talking about stuff, but they only showed a very small snippet. So there's lots of stuff that has been left out. He was saying, and anyway.
love the drama and the speculation narrative rather than the truth, which is the truth is it's all lies. It's all complete BS. None of it has any proof
The
behind
grinder
it.
account is lies.
100% fake. Yeah, I've never even downloaded Grinder, and I can prove that. If you were to look at my
How do you prove
Apple
that?
purchase history. Well, if you go into your and I only found this out by a comment that someone posted, where like, Gypsy, go look at his Apple purchase history. And if you look at my iCloud account, which I've had since 2008, you can see that I've never even once downloaded the app since I've
Ken, you know what's
legit see
troubling?
purchase history.
If you would be honest with us, because we're just
Sure.
relaxing, kicking back, and
yeah, same here.
When did you hook up with Gypsy? Because it looks like
So here we go. Now we're going to find out what's going on here.
it was February that this happened.
So we had a.
Be honest, man. Don't lie about it.
I'm being 100% honest. The very first time I ever had a physical reconnection with Gypsy was a week after she separated from her husband. It was April 1st was the weekend that I came down for the very first time and saw her in person.
So
since
not
5
Jazz
years ago.
Fest. It was not
Well,
Jazz
Jazz
Fest.
Fest was a month later.
That was in
But no,
April, end of April, May.
Right.
He has a JK in his mods, does he? Ooh.
When you went on
Yeah,
Natasha
no.
Cooper's,
End of
right
March,
before her
early
nose
April was the
surgery.
first. Yes, that was the time that I did the live with Natasha.
So,
It was end of April, early
Wait,
May.
wait,
Or
dude.
April
So
4th. End of March, early April. My bad. End of March.
April
early
4th.
Wait, Ken. So
Come on, Ken. Come on, Ken.
wait,
Hey,
Ken.
Ken.
No, I'm
Hey,
telling you
Ken,
the truth.
I just want.
mean,
No,
But
dude. I'm
you
not
were-
saying you're a liar.
okay,
I'm just saying. I'm saying, hey, Ken.
Hey guys, let's calm down. Calm.
See, he just gets whoa. Yeah, let me go. There's so many people in there. He modded. I know did he mod KJ again? Did he? She didn't go up on panel at all, did she?
Down. One at a
no,
time.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to say, yes, did I have a conversation with her late February and then on a few times? I did, but it wasn't in the sense of a relationship wise. It was just like a talking, hey, how are you doing? How you been kind of thing.
Like a face
And the
type.
first
A
time we
catch up.
ever, there's all this rumor and speculation that I was coming to visit her in January, February, which is just completely untrue. I mean, she was living with Ryan in Lake Charles,
But
3
dude,
hours
you were
away.
talking.
So here's the thing. mOrBiD's really trying to get him to understand that even if he was talking to her, she was still cheating on Ryan. But he doesn't seem to buy that.
To her in February. Or
late
March.
February, we had our initial conversation. Yes. Like it was just like a hey, how you been? Like kind of conversation.
It was a FaceTime, wasn't it? Because they showed
It was a
clip of me.
FaceTime.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Was it not?
Did she go on panel again? So I didn't see the end of this.
The FaceTime clip that was in the show. Okay, so let me also say this. That first weekend that I came to visit Gypsy, which is the weekend that we got the tattoos, the weekend that we went to New Orleans, none of that was filmed with Lifetime. That was just us hanging out as people, and
When
the
did you get the
cameras were not there
tattoo,
at all.
Ken? What month? When did you guys decide to get the tattoo?
I'll tell you the exact day. It was April 1st was the day that we got the tattoos. It was the first
Wow.
day that we
April
had been hanging
Fool's
out.
Day.
Wait,
April
that's
Fool's
the
Day was
time
the
you
day.
said, dude. You just said that was the first time you talked to her.
No,
April
no,
1st.
that's not what I said. I said
No,
late
he said that's
February
the
was
first
the first
time
time
he
we
came.
talked, but the first time we physically reconnected in person was that weekend of April 1st.
So now everyone's saying, well, now the timeline's still not adding up. As I said, he must have some very good swimmers for it to happen the very first time they hooked up. What's the chances of that? Yes, KJ is in the chat. Short order.
That's what I said.
So
Yeah,
y'all.
he said first time he came
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Right. I drove from Dallas to cut off to see her. And then we
Because
went to
after the show, Lifetime released, I don't know why, or I don't know what, it was bizarre, but it was a little clip of obviously you speaking with her, but you were on, it was FaceTime.
Right.
So you weren't
FaceTime, yeah.
physically, you weren't physically in the same.
I
sort
was
of-
not physically in the same state.
No.
No, that FaceTime, I believe, was taken after that second weekend of Jazz Fest. So the first time I came to visit her was the weekend of April 1st. I was there for about 3 or 4 days. I went back, and then the second time I came back to see her, that was when Lifetime filmed us together. That was the weekend of Jazz Fest, which is also like May 1st.
But
end of
Ken, can
April,
you
early May.
understand the first time y'all hook up and meet? Okay, you're getting tattoos.
Yeah, no, it's bizarre for sure, but it was an
It's
impulsive,
bizarre. I mean,
one decision. I mean,
No,
listen, it is what it is.
Did you go there with just the intentions of getting bestie tattoos and being best friends forever?
No, I mean, the intention was to see each other for the first time in 5 years, spend time together, have those moments in person for the first time ever outside of prison walls,
But you-
and to see, if we, if that like friendship.
I mean, the chat, you just, even if you don't pay attention to what's going on the live, the chat is here. Everyone's just piling questions in the chat. The chat is great to talk to. Do you regret getting Gypsy pregnant? You got a murderer pregnant. Someone says, can you, mister? So
Translated outside of prison, and we had fun in actual real
Ken,
life.
when did you break up with Gypsy?
Well, were you communicating with Gypsy before
And
that?
when
Before
you got-
she left Ryan? Y'all were
One question at a time.
behind his
Go ahead,
back.
So many
guys.
questions.
So
at
answering
once.
your question, hello Starlight, I said already that we had that initial conversation late February, but it wasn't in like a romantic sense. It was just like us talking again for the first time in a while conversation.
Yeah.
Was it like a closure type
Behind
of
her
conversation?
husband's back, though.
Sorry, what?
Behind her
Yeah, you heard
husband's
that.
back is what I was saying.
You knew that she was with Ryan,
Sure.
and then
Yeah, how do you feel about that? You don't.
how does it? Okay, people label you as a home wrecker. Now, what do you want to say about that?
Oh, I have a lot to say about that. I have a lot to say.
How do you say that that's
Okay,
not
wait.
true?
Let her
Wait,
rip.
my question before he answers that, because it's like, dude, like, all right, whatever. Label him a homewrecker, whatever.
yeah, it gets hard to follow at times because there's just questions everywhere.
There's people that have been there, Ken, whatever. But my question is, guys, remember that live that you went on and you guys were like, yeah, we're not sexually active. Or are you sexually active?
And she said she was on birth control, too.
Yeah.
One question
Right.
at a time. Ken,
My bad.
let's go ahead and answer the home wrecker part of it?
The
How are
homewrecker
you
part of
not
it,
a home wrecker?
Because there wasn't a home to wreck. I mean, Gypsy
She
left
was
her
married.
husband.
Was.
Gypsy left her husband, and that's when we reconnected. I wasn't sneaking up in her house in the middle of the night while they were still living together, while they were still in an
No,
active marriage.
That's not.
So
Right, but if it, okay, the way I look at it, why not give it until the divorce is final to make sure that that is exactly what she really wants? That's I've been divorced twice.
She
Made
is a
some
little
mistakes, so I know.
impulsive.
Why the rush,
Well,
Ken? Why the rush?
there was no rush.
Yes, Peter, we can see you. Well, the rush now is that there's a child. As I said, it is a big, messy panel, and I sort of felt sorry. I did actually feel sorry for Ken, but as I said, he does come out with some great stuff, particularly when he goes, when he mentions Katie Joy, and everyone's eyes light up. But I do agree, it should have been everybody else. Everyone else should have been respectful and just, because he just got bombarded.
I mean, she left Ryan. She moved back with her parents. We hung out for a weekend, and then here we are now. I mean, I like I said, I wouldn't have. Huh?
As a huge rush, you're having a child. Like, why weren't you?
Well, I mean,
doing things to
the
prevent
pregnancy
that?
came at a surprise, and that was later on. That wasn't that first weekend. But
It's not much of a surprise when you're being like negligent or whatever on making sure
I
it
mean,
doesn't happen.
you jizz in her, and you can only expect a surprise 9 months later.
I have a question.
well, I'm not going to get into all
I mean,
that.
dude,
What happened there,
like,
but
I'm just a real fucking person.
Number
over here.
one,
I'm
Ken,
stuck
does
with
Gypsy
my
know
question.
you're here?
I was wondering that
yes,
too.
Of course.
Hold on.
She's
Sorry.
right there.
Sorry,
Hey, Gypsy. What's up,
No,
Gypsy?
she's not here in the room with me.
Okay, but
I have
does
a
she know
question.
you're here?
Is she in the
'Cause-
live chat?
No, she knows I'm here.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So, what was the reason why you left her in the first place?
Christy.
And what
Sorry.
year was that? Let's be.
So we separated back in 2000, and it's unfortunate because I explained all of this in my lifetime interview.
That's a very good point, Mama Kay. That's a very good point. Why? Yes, I'm interested to know the answer to that too. I thought some of the questions were meaningless. There was some. I think that in the haste that they forgot to ask some questions though. Some important ones. But he does say he's 100% sure the child's his. But even with him confirming the timeline, it doesn't add up. As I said, he must have had super swimmers or something, because the first time they hook up,
Review, but they, as much television does, they boil it down. You give a 4-hour speech, and they'll boil it down to like 5 minutes.
Well, they edited it out, so we didn't hear it.
They edit everything down to fit in a 1-hour episode.
Okay, so we don't know. So explain it.
Right. So so when we were together for 2 years, and then right around the summer of 2019,
it was hard. It was hard to listen to. It was I as I said, I missed lots. I did miss a lot of it because I was working and I had to take breaks because it was very hard. I don't know how long he was there for either. So I can't tell you that. He may have caught her at the right time. Oh dear. Oh, I like what you did there, short order. I know. I said I did say I said with his accuracy he should be at the Olympics with such accurate aim. Hey, I wanted to know whether he pees in the toilet or does it fall on the floor like most men. Because with an aim like that, you'd think that he'd be able to aim for the
had a lot of outside voices talking to me, telling me how my relationship was negatively impacting her from growing as an individual. This is a person that's come from a life of nothing but codependence and has.
Here's the issue I've got, MB, with that. She was supposed to be irregular and everything like that. So if she was, how she wouldn't have been, that story about her being irregular and needing to see a fertility doctor would have to be wrong. Would have to be wrong. I just like a good joke. Because she was supposed to, she didn't think that she was having ovulate. She didn't think she was ovulating. So, it's, yeah. I don't know what to believe anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, that's going by what she said. That's what Gypsy said on one of her streams. So that's what I'm going off. All right.
Never lived a life of non-codependence and has no idea of her own self-identity and her own progression and her own self-worth. And these words were not coming at me from just regular people across Facebook and whatnot. It was also like big name figures like Dr. Phil and Nancy Grace. And this is a fact. I mean, Dr. Phil put out a podcast where he talked to me, referenced me by name, and told me how all the reasons why, or all the reasons of me being in a relationship with Gypsy was a negative impact on her. And those
What did your
voices
family
really
think, Ken? What did your family think? Because surely you would respect your family and over.
Well, let him
and above.
explain the whole breakup, the initial.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Okay, so to finish that, so yeah, I mean, a lot of those voices registered in my head, and I felt like they were accurate and that they were true, and that I needed to give Gypsy that separation and that time to find herself, to grow in her own independence, to find her own identity. And then later on in the long run, who knows where life will take us. So I separated based off of that. And a lot of people say that that's ridiculous, that's crazy, but that is the truth of why
But
we
bro,
separated.
come on. Let's be honest here.
But hold on.
Weren't you with the
They're pulling out. Oh dear. So what do you think about what he's saying at the moment? Do you think it's plausible? I got a bit angry with him when he was talking about, I was getting a bit annoyed with him when he was diminishing Gypsy's part in the whole thing. And I realized then that he's just taking the fact, he's just saying what he knew, what he's been told. Because, and he talks about all her unnecessary surgeries. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall afterwards, because I'm sure he would have, if he'd be asking, I'd like to think that he would be asking some questions afterwards. It could be that Ken tried to protect himself, but did not guard well.
Go on, Bimbo. Go ahead, Starlight.
Hold on. She never did not live a life of codependency. She went from you to Ryan and was codependent on that.
Well, I can't help what choices she made after our separation, and those are things that I realized after the fact.
But you act like she's grown or changed. Like, has she?
She has. I think
can you tell me how?
I think that it's important not to infantilize Gypsy, and that she has made a lot of growth and progression while in prison and out of prison, and that such as what? I mean, what do you mean? Like, I mean, she's gotten her GED. She's learned a little bit more about how the real world works since being out.
They said that she said she got her GED in prison. So
Right.
Outside of the knowledge, I just want to know, like, we want to know what she's grown. Like, actually, I don't fuck all those questions. What are you scared? Like, do you ever get scared or worried that outside of the
Essentially, do you
chromosome
sleep with one eye
disorder, like,
open?
Not
are
at
you
all.
fucking
Absolutely
scared?
not. Absolutely not.
He wouldn't say
Gypsy
if he was
is
anyways,
one of the
though.
sweetest
I know.
people I've ever met in my life, and she brings a lot
What
to
is
my
so
world.
sweet about her? Because we're trying to understand where you're coming from here, because we don't get it.
Nobody is the
What do you
sweetest
hate
person
about
in the
her so
world.
much?
I don't hate her personally. I just don't feel like she should be monetizing off her mother's death.
Agreed.
Yeah, we don't hate her. We don't know her as a
No, we
person.
don't.
I don't
would
hate
love-
her.
I would
I
love-
don't.
I would love to try to
I
get to
think that
know
she has a
Gypsy
story to
and see her
tell,
as a person.
and I think that with her story has lessons
How long
that
is
can
it
be
gonna?
learned.
Sorry,
Wait,
I'm
what did he
sorry.
say?
Go ahead.
Ken, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said that I forgot what I said. I got sidetracked by.
She has a
people
story
talking.
to tell.
Yeah, so she
even
has
though
a
we've
story to
been
tell.
waiting.
She has lessons that can be learned from other people, and
So what
I
is
think
the
she has a
story that
lot.
she wants to tell to all
She's.
of us that
Why is it
want
taking
to
so long for her
understand?
to tell it? She's
Sorry,
already
what?
wrote a book. How many stories are there to tell?
I mean, I
As
think that
many
her
as.
story is just so incredibly unique, but also falls into a
Mhm.
category of a lot of unheard cases of Munchausen by proxy.
So there you go. So we're going to hear, yeah. Do you think Ken is just towing the line fed by the family, or do you think he's critically thinking? I mean, I thought it was interesting how he didn't class himself as a homewrecker because there was no home to wreck, but she was still technically married, you know.
And I think that that she does have a position in possible advocacy work to help other victims of Munchausen by proxy
But
get
Ken,
out of a situation that they're in.
what is she doing for that though right now? Or what has she
Well,
been doing since she's been
there's not a lot that
released?
she can do because she's under parole and she has a lot of stipulations against her, and so
Yet
she's not
she
allowed
could
to
do
talk to other
makeup
felons.
tutorials and
Why not?
Yeah.
What's the problem with that? Like, why can't
Well,
you just live her life?
Well,
no,
if
I'm
she
saying
isn't
like
honest
if
about
she's an advocate.
People don't want to
Right.
watch Gypsy put her makeup on. Her channel's gonna tank. People want to know.
Okay, but people do want to watch it. That's why
I
they
don't
do watch
agree. I don't
No.
agree with her channel tanking, Ken.
You'll always pay. I honestly think none of them thought this. Well, I think it was nobody. I think nobody expected him to come on. Well, see, that's what I was hoping. Short order. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know the story without the interruptions. Let him say his bit. Hi, MB. That's okay. Did you get kicked out or something? No. Yeah, that was my only disappointing thing is that he just couldn't finish. He was just bombarded. And I think, that was very unfortunate, I think. I'd like to hear from Ken's ex-girlfriend, actually. Yeah, I think they just got a little bit excited. I think they just got really excited. Well, we're only assuming that he is the father because of his super swimmers, of course.
Okay, but if she isn't honest about what really happened, then is she a fraud? And what's the story? Like, is she being honest? Is she not being honest? Because it seems like there's a lot of information coming out.
Right.
So what
I believe
story?
that she is being honest. I believe that she is being honest about her
You do?
story. There's a lot of misinformation that comes out about her, and
But-
there's a giant hate train against her that just wants to derail her at every turn.
It's not
And-
as
And,
giant
and
as you
the
think,
family-
though, Ken.
her
I'll tell you
story
that.
is-
I don't know who's talking.
Okay,
right
is
now.
anybody in this room a supporter of hers in any way?
I was.
Not
I
anymore.
was.
I was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Initially, yes, Ken. I'd have to say
what,
I was
what
personally.
changed your mind?
Afterwards, or what?
All right. So what changed my mind? I looked into it a little bit more. I got some more facts about her medical history and things of that nature. And then I started, I'm into true crime. All right, Ken. So when I analyze a case, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at all the interrogation videos, if it's even available. And in this case, it was. Have you seen Gypsy's interrogation videos and Nicholas's? Or do you just ignore that? Have you seen them?
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. Say it again.
Have you seen the interrogation videos of Gypsy? And
I have.
Okay, so what were your thoughts on Gypsy's interrogation video? Knowing,
I mean, my thoughts on that are, I think that she was a scared person in a situation that she never expected to be in. And I think that like her and 99% of other people who are ever in a situation like that in an interrogation room, they're in a self-preservation mode, and they'll say things to help themselves and try and help get them off the hook essentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you wanted the baby. I mean, he did say it was a surprise, but would you really want a baby after hooking up again so soon?
And
now, go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
No, that's pretty much it.
I think a lot of people's
was gonna
fascination with it is that there are a lot of inconsistencies here and there.
Yes.
And it's interesting to compare the inconsistencies
Yeah.
just on a human level. So like I've always said, like, give me information, give me something to see that would change my mind. Because I'm up for that. I think a lot of people are, but we would need to see it, and the information that we've seen and the inconsistencies in different various things makes her a little that makes us skeptical.
Do you actually think?
I think that you guys
No, sorry. We
I just want her to stop lying
one
and
by
saying
one,
she
one
had.
by one, guys.
Yes, that's what I'm
She
saying.
had.
Yeah.
Like them saying that she had over 100 surgeries. Like
Why
she's
did they-
lying about a lot of things that people are calling out. It's almost like a daily thing that you can find something that she's not being truthful with.
So are you denying that she never had any unnecessary surgeries done against her?
My own personal opinion, yes.
But you've.
I don't see the trauma. Most people will go on. No, she doesn't seem to. Like she doesn't seem to be. So yeah, I mean, I've got to give him credit. He's defending her. He's defending her.
Okay, so
I don't.
Hold on,
I want
guys.
you to
Let him
explain.
talk here. Let's hear
So
it.
why did her mother shave her head to give her the appearance of being sick? Why did her mother make her sit in a wheelchair?
For the
knowing that her
fraud,
daughter
for the
could walk?
con. Hold on, let me answer. For the fraud, for the con, because that's what it was. Medical
Okay,
fraud.
and so Gypsy, who had been under her mother's control her entire life, never got to experience a real childhood like any one of us did.
She should have ran away.
Went to middle school. So she tried that before. Okay, and what
In
happened? She got taken
2011,
back home,
and then she
and then her mother would tell the
manipulated
police.
a mentally stunted man.
Okay, it's easy for you to say that with the perspective that you have, but it's not easy for
The
her to say that
facts,
with the childhood
sir.
that she grew up in. You can't put yourself
She
in an
could have
abuse
left.
victim's shoes. And
She
tell
stood
her
up
what
in
she
front
should
of the
have done.
doctor. We've seen where she
Did
admitted
that
she
ever
stood
amount
up.
to anything? It's like you're being
Exactly.
willfully ignorant and blinded by hatred.
Why
That's
don't
I mean,
then
obviously
let
we
me
can't have
ask
a
It's not
conversation
hatred,
because
Ken. It's
It's
not
not-
Okay,
hatred.
let
It's
me
No,
ask
not
it just
you,
means it is what
why
it is.
is
Hold
it
on, one at a
why is
time.
it
One at a
please
time.
let me ask this. Why is it that no one is going after these doctors?
Yeah, good question.
How could I explain that? I have no idea.
You never talk to your
Right,
your
exactly,
girl.
because it's malingering. That's the problem, is that and they know, and you guys know that there was something else going on, because Gypsy knew at an age that she was liable to be convicted of fraud. That's the problem. Is that not?
You're so far from the truth. I don't even know how to respond to that. Like that's,
Well, then
that's
why?
ridiculous.
Ken,
Why?
how are you so
What?
certain in your mind?
How do you
'Cause you're
know? Didn't
confident.
you hit her up in jail, like while she was in prison?
Help us try to understand your
Yeah,
mind,
that's all we're trying
because
to
you
do is
moved from
understand.
Texas to Louisiana.
Yeah, like you're dedicated to
So
this
I'm
woman. We're just trying to
sympathizing
ask you.
for
Help
a
us.
victim of abuse who went through ungodly things that I could never even imagine and dream of. Therefore, I cannot put
Like
myself
what?
in the
Can you
shoes of
tell
that
me some
person
of these?
and imagine what thought process or things that she had to go through mentally
What
at the time.
ungodly things? Is this part of the story?
Having
Is
her
it ever?
salivary glands removed, forcing
They
her to
were.
sit in a
Have you?
wheelchair,
That
giving
it
her
was
seizure
needed.
medication that made her teeth rot out. I mean,
That's not why
ungodly
her teeth
procedures.
rotted out. So you're not informed.
Yes, I am
Your
informed.
child, your
You're not.
child's
you're
teeth
taking
your child's teeth could rot out because of the chromosome disease.
you're
Just want to let you
taking
know.
Gypsy's word over facts.
No, I'm very well educated on the case.
You went through these medical documents. I don't know. I don't know whether she was held away. That's what. I started to feel for him at this point because I thought he's just been ambushed. And I just thought he's just saying what he's been. I mean, he is just. Of course, you don't ever want to think that your partner's lying to you either. When you think about it, why would you think that your partner's lying to you? So of course he's going to defend her. Where everything's explained.
I'm very aware of them all.
You're aware, but have you read them and comprehended them and asked her questions?
I mean, Ken, what are we missing here? Because look, we're not going to go back and forth. Go, I know more than you do, but what are we missing here that you clearly are keeping from us?
Well, I wanted to come in here because of the Zora chick that you guys had in here earlier.
Okay, go ahead.
And how she's just ranting and raving about how terrible Gypsy is and etc. And it's like, this is a person that was a friend of hers a week ago. And the only reason that she's coming out with all this hate and anger and animosity is because Gypsy had to cut her off because she is an active heroin user, therefore committing felonious behavior. Therefore, Gypsy cannot associate with her by her parole. She cannot talk to felons.
Hold on,
and she cannot
Ken.
talk to anybody
Now
who
that's
commits
not fair.
felonious behavior.
Wait.
Strange how KJ knew it was bad dental hygiene from soda, but only did she? She mentioned it in her chat today. In the chat today, did she? I have some of her chat messages. Because I saw that she was in there, and so I was doing some screenshotting because as I said, I was at work, and I couldn't listen to it, and when I couldn't have the headphones on, I was just reading the chat, and so when I saw she was in there, I was trying to pay attention, get some screenshots, and I thought she said it was from the You're right. They weren't listening, and that was the bit that I was getting frustrated. But I was getting frustrated. I don't know how he was feeling, but I was feeling pretty frustrated myself.
Okay, hold on, Ken, because
And why didn't you
talked to
jump
her
on
anyway,
when
though,
she
right?
was up here?
Regardless of her
Hold
I was
on.
here, but I didn't get on. I don't
But
know.
Ken, she accused Gypsy of being a Suboxone Subutex user.
Yeah, and it's
What
a
do you say
complete,
there?
absolute lie. I mean, Gypsy's
So
been UA'd
we just
several
have to
times in
believe
the
you
last
that she's a
month.
heroin
Okay,
user?
well, I'm going to tell you right now that Gypsy's been UA'd several times in the last month by her parole officer and has come back clean every time. And I spend a lot of time with Gypsy, so she's definitely not using Suboxone. That's just a crazy lie created to defame her.
Yeah, but what's the proof that you have that this person's a heroin user, Zora? Because
What I've been told.
Last week there were.
So yes, he's being told, and he's just doing what he's just listening to what he's being told. I mean, of course, she hung out with neighbours all the time without doing.
Best friends, and they were friends for a while, and then all of a sudden you're coming out here and you're saying, hey, no, back up 1 second.
and see, you said there's a whole bunch of change she's had, but I'm noticing, okay, on a level of manipulation, she's still manipulating. Okay. First of all, there was the Dan the man, then there was Nicholas, then there was Ryan, or Ryan, you know, Pong. Every time. So if I'm sorry, that is codependent behavior. She has never once not had somebody. So
Is
she can
Gypsy
figure
with you right now, Ken?
No, she's not.
No.
Ken,
And
I
I
have a
really-
question.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute, everybody. We
that's
need to
so-
calm down. Everybody, we
Yeah,
need to
I
calm
agree.
down.
I
Like,
agree because it's like
we need to calm down. Like, we're not.
Yeah, let's
we're
all
not.
just calm
Ken,
down.
we're not. Yeah. Well, yeah, Ken. We're not coming after Ken, and we're not all doing that. Like,
Yeah,
like,
no.
dude.
All right,
Like,
one at
dude,
a
Ken,
time.
you
Go
need to
ahead, Bug.
understand. Like, you need to understand, like, Ken, nobody's coming after you. Everybody's just really excited because it's like, holy shit! Like,
No one's
Ken actually
excited.
came
We're
up.
just I'm not excited.
No,
I'm
it's
just
like excited,
want to
excited
get some
in like a
answers.
spastic way. That's what I'm saying. Excited in a spastic way. Like everybody's kind of coming at once. Okay.
I think it's
Listen, here's what.
interesting that
It's
he
very
actually
interesting.
Okay.
Thing.
had I guess I don't know if respect is the right word. I
The
find it
balls.
interesting. I can't even talk that you actually came up, not in a
Yeah.
negative way.
I
but
love
like
it.
I respect the fact that you
No,
actually
yeah, I
came up
respect it
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm not
said
I
it.
didn't
surprised.
come in
Or-
here
We
to
love
fight
you.
with
We love
anybody.
you up
I
here.
honestly came in here to have a respectful conversation and just
I think
talk
you
as if we're
are.
all in a bar
And
once
I'm
somewhere, just
giving
having
it
a
to you,
drink.
Ken,
I'm
because
okay.
I
Thank you.
don't go that way.
Yeah,
So I want to ask you,
Yeah.
I'm just asking you some
Ken,
questions.
But don't come at me with a bunch of like hostile questions. Like we're just here having a conversation.
I
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah, we
I have a
are, but
question.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think they got caught up in the fact that he actually went up there because it came out that, he was in chat for a while.
Ken, I have a
Have a
question.
conversation.
hold on, guys.
Guys,
Wait. Hold on.
Go ahead,
Wait.
Bug. Hurry up.
The questions are not hostile. They are just real questions that a lot of people have, and we're asking on a platform because you came on here and you have a large platform right now, and we're asking the questions.
I don't have
and we're
any
not,
platform, but
Well, you
Well,
Yes,
you
do.
got
do.
Whether you
banned.
want
Yes,
to
Wait,
you
hold
do.
on one
Yes,
second. Let me
you
handle
do.
this.
happened to the
Ken,
data?
is it true you got banned off TikTok?
it is true. I got banned on TikTok. Yes.
Why were you banned, bro?
Damn.
No, seriously.
Well,
Everybody,
okay.
shush. I
Well,
want to hear Ken.
Okay, so this is
Why were you
the
banned,
and
bro?
I will stand by this 100%. I'll own it. I got into so this person posted a video saying that I have pure confirmation, 100% facts that Ken is indeed having gay relationships
Ash
with
too
XYZ
trippy?
amount
Ash
of
too
men.
trippy.
Yes, that chick.
Yes, she's been
And
here.
so I just jumped in her comment section like, okay, show me the proof, show me some evidence. And then of course she didn't, and because she had nothing to show because it is untrue. And then all of her followers start jumping in and adding to the comment section. And so I'm like, you guys are all idiots. You guys are
So
all
the
idiots
point is
for
it
just
obsessive.
following this creator who's blatantly spreading misinformation with no evidence to show or back up anything that she says. And I guess you can't call somebody an idiot
Bro,
to me.
you didn't
TikTok
get
that you
banned
can.
off TikTok for calling someone an idiot.
That's 100% what happened. I mean, my comments got reported for calling her an idiot, calling her followers
Wow.
idiots. That's exactly what happened.
Mopping the floor or sweeping the floor. That one was pretty.
Okay, so I can explain that. What I said was, and she conveniently left this out of her screenshot, was I said, bring me into your live. I will wipe the floor with you, meaning in a debate, head-to-head conversation. That was not a physical threat, as if I'm going to come to your house.
I didn't even
That
see
was
that. Oh
saying
my God.
in a debate session, I would wipe
What
the
was it?
floor
A
with you. That's what I said.
bartender saying I'm gonna mop the floor? Or no, that's a joke.
No, it
That's
just
a
means
joke,
that
Ken.
I'll win in a debate situation. That's what that means.
Ken,
Just
don't you
figure
feel
it-
bad for Ryan at all?
I was just going to ask that. Thank you, mOrBiD.
Do you feel
Yeah.
bad for Ryan?
I've never spoken ill about Ryan on any kind of platform, in any kind of comment, or any kind of camera situation. I've always just
The refrigerator
said
tour
no
wasn't a
comment.
dig.
Okay, that is the one thing I ever did. All that I ever did was I imitated his voice terribly, might I add, as saying the word fridge tour. But that was just like a fun, goofy moment. But besides that, I have never spoken ill of him, talked ill of him, said anything negative about him. And I see that he has taken the opposite route, and that's
But
fine.
bro,
That's
you
his
broke
right.
up his marriage.
Listen, he can say whatever he
Is
wants. I'm not going to add to it though. I'm not going to come on here and try to bash him.
I know,
I
but you
haven't,
could
and I
understand
won't.
his position. You broke his marriage up, bro.
Yeah, no one's baiting anybody here. We're just asking questions. So don't think that. Like, don't think.
I just want to say that, like, I have a lot to say about that. I just choose not to.
So what do you reckon he means by that? He's got a lot to say about that. I mean, but at the end of the day, he did break up the marriage. I mean, let's be. That's right. He slept with his wife. How is he supposed to react?
Is Gypsy
What do you
still
have? What's a
messaging
lot that you
him?
need to say about this?
There's a
Seriously.
lot that I could say, but I just choose not to.
As far as what can you say? You broke up his marriage, man. He was married.
There's a lot that I could say to that.
I'll tell you what. When I
could say to that.
watch here, you correct me if I'm wrong. When I watch a Lifetime series, right? Ryan goes and picks up your girl, okay, your baby mama, from the prison. Okay, I mean he's doing a whole lot, and then all of a sudden you swoop in. This is what we see. And then Christy somehow is, what is the affiliation there? Because it seems like Christy knows your dog, and there was this whole situation.
Yeah, I've seen those comments talking about like this whole theory of like, how does Christy know Ken's dog? There's something sus about that. Well, as I said, so I came that first weekend of April. I brought Parker with me, and Parker stayed in Christy's house for the couple days that me and Gypsy went out on the town, and that's how she knew Parker. So when I came back for that second trip, which was the one that was filmed for the show, that's how she knew Parker, because he was there a month earlier.
Okay.
How long? And when did the correspondence with Christy start?
Well, Christy and I had always kind of, I mean, I don't want to say that we maintained a super close friendship, because we didn't, but like we had a good bond back when her and I were still together. And then while we were separated, we would still have like Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday kind of like text every.
So what do you think? Is he downplaying the breakup of the marriage? Do you think that he's downplaying that? Should he? So it doesn't sound like he's feeling any guilt by it. I'd love. Oh yes, there would be a lot of parolees that'd love to go out on the
now and then. We always kind of still, in a small way, retained that friendship, but like nothing too extreme or even super big. But that's why like that rapport was still kind of there, I guess. If that makes sense.
Can I ask a question? Because like from what I've witnessed and watched and researched, etc., and again, I'm not coming at you in a hostile manner, but I thought the initial reason, or I guess the media is partially involved here, but I thought one of the main reason that you left was because you didn't want to be in the public eye per se. You felt
that wasn't the reality. That was just something that got spread around the internet, but it wasn't true.
So you want to be in the public eye is what you're saying now.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I want to be in the public eye. I was saying that the reason why I separated with Gypsy was not because of the attention. And
Is it because you cared about her so much that you wanted her to move on?
Yeah. You think he's snowed over by Gypsy? Yeah. I mean, if she's manipulated, if she's as good as a manipulator as what everyone's saying is, it's quite likely she's convinced him that it was over. And he's probably not has an option on it that he's not going to share. He knows more than he's putting out so far. No.
Nice one.
I'm just asking you.
No.
Like.
It's not a
that
joke.
wasn't
It's
you,
not a
mOrBiD.
joke.
Hold on one second.
It's not a joke, Ken.
No,
it's
seriously.
Not a joke, Ken.
What was the reason?
I'm actually asking that.
Didn't you just say that you wanted her to have a better life, and then you needed to let her go?
How I actually have had this question for a while, because anytime it comes up, the phrase is it was negatively affecting her. Like, in what sense was it negatively affecting her?
Well, it was negatively affecting her because she wasn't given that space to build her own self-identity, to come to her own, or to figure out her own amount of self-worth. and to
That
grow as an individual, which she had never had that opportunity before prior to prison. And
I
then
do have a secondary part to that, by the way. So go ahead. Sorry. I wanted to also know, like, why didn't you have that discussion with her when you left?
We did.
Then why did Christy have to contact you and talk to you for hours on end, and then she had to contact Gypsy after you recontacted Christy to say, "Oh, this is the closure. This is the conversation. This is why."
Well, I don't believe we had the conversation to the fullest extent. And
I do think somebody has said, I think there might be something more to the point of Ken's going to be a lot easier to manipulate than Ryan. I mean, if the baby she has the baby with Ryan, if it's Ryan's baby, he's going to be able to get, it's going to be easy for him to get custody of the baby, I think.
So when I saw the prison confessions and I saw her talk about our separation, I felt the need to reach out to Christy and say, this is not true, and I don't want her to think that this is why. And I told her all the full extent of the story, and then that's when that was relayed to her. But it wasn't like in an attempt to like reinsert myself back into her life. It was just for her to understand the full exact reason.
But Ken, you knew she was married to
Okay.
Ryan, right?
I did, sure.
And what? Just love got you, and you had to go try one last time, one more
I
time.
didn't try to reinsert myself into her life at the time. Like I said, it was just me explaining the full extent and the full reasons to Christy, and that was it. There was no me trying to get back in her life. That came after. That came later.
Did you have any suspicion she would have like done that though?
No, not at all.
She is impulsive, and that's not a negative. It's just she is a little impulsive. So.
And I just got to ask a question that is just a human question. Like, okay, and just saying, you both left other relationships.
Ryan seems to hold Gypsy more accountable, whereas Ken just goes on with whatever she says. Yeah, which is why I think Ryan is more of a liability to whatever it is that the plan is.
To be with each other, and you know what they say about it. I mean, obviously, but does that not kind of? I would never. I don't know. Personally, it would make me feel a little iffy.
Well, to that I say that we didn't leave our relationships to get back with each other. It just so happened that both of our relationships came to an end around the same time, and it allowed us a reconnection point.
But y'all were already talking.
Well, Gypsy
we had had a
left Ryan for
conversation,
you,
but like
maybe you didn't leave your girlfriend for her, but
that one conversation opened the door, and it shouldn't have.
When did you have the conversation?
I don't say so. I wouldn't say so.
When did you actually have that conversation? If you
Which
don't mind
conversation?
Asking. The explanation of like, hey, this is why, rather than this.
Well, Christy relayed that information to her from me.
You guys never discussed it though?
Of course we discussed it. I mean, I can't tell you the exact.
I think she's talking to keep him on the hook for two reasons. One, to get what she wants at the divorce, and in case Ken leaves again. Yes, possibly. And I mean, the third reason is, well, and the only reason Ken would leave is probably if he found out it wasn't his baby.
Time and date that we discussed it.
Okay.
But yeah, we eventually talked about it.
So go ahead, Starlight.
Okay, so recently it was said that so Gypsy saw that you had pictures or something in your phone of ex-girlfriends, and that's why she was texting Ryan behind your back saying that she missed him and all.
I think so too, better than the Irish. She wouldn't have left Ryan until she had another man. I think that's something to be said about that. And Peter says, I wonder if KJ pitched the Gypsy Rose story to Netflix as her archival. Her Tati behind the scenes. Yeah, and plus didn't Tati release something to say she's stepping away from the Tati business or something?
Comment.
I mean, that's kind of like our business. I'm not going to get too much into that.
Okay.
But that's
When your
just something that
business has
happened.
been out there and it's
I
out in the
I have a
public.
It's
question.
unfortunate, you know, and this is the unfortunate thing about Gypsy's life is that anybody who she confides into as a friend, and Katie Joy is no exception.
Yeah, that's
Dora
my.
is
I
no
want to know, what do
exception.
you think about Katie
And it's
Joy?
unfortunate because whenever she's had a friend, and Katie Joy has been a friend of the family for 5 years, so she felt
That
trust
sucks.
in confiding in this woman who is a terrible, absolute, awful person. To just like once
Mhm.
the relationship sours, to go and then put every single thing about Gypsy's life on public display, to
Yep,
ride the hate
Word.
gravy train of
I
getting
agree.
views and attention to her channel, and it's absolutely
But
disgusting. And
but
Katie
Ken,
Joy,
that's the
It was
same
definitely
criticism
vindictive.
that's going to Christy and your girl, Gypsy. That's the
Okay,
same
well, wait.
criticism.
okay, explain that.
Let's ask Ken a real question. Ken, are you happy?
I'm 100% happy.
Great.
I can't tell you how much joy Gypsy brings to my life. We have an incredible time together. We have incredible chemistry. You know, whenever we shut off these online voices and it's just us two out in the real world, we have an amazing time. We have a lot of great memories that we've made, and we're having a kid together. And I'm nothing but hopeful and excited for a good future.
Ken, come to the dark side. You'll get a blocked by Katie Joy membership. You're not buying it, Gigi?
Okay,
Yes, I know
Hell
that there
yeah.
will be
Well, like,
trials and tribulations and problems to work through. Gypsy's got a lot of trauma to work through, and I'm there for her, and I want to be there for her, and I want to help her progress. I don't want to see her crash and burn like almost all the internet does. They're just
Then why
waiting
not
for her
let
absolute
me
downfall.
help her
And
with
Let him talk. Let him talk. Let him talk. And I have a question follow up with this because we need to talk to Ken and not just bombard him. So let Ken talk. And I have a question like I want to know how far along Gypsy
You
is and
said
if
let him
everything's
talk. He's
good and all
talking.
that.
all right, I'm where am I at right now? Because I
Ken,
heard a lot
what
of
I want
How
to
happy
say,
are you, Ken?
Ken,
I'm
hold on one second, Ken. Bless me with a one-on-one interview, you and I, at some
sure.
point.
Okay,
You
let's
just
go.
came up out of the blue, okay?
I
So
did.
I'm not going to be able to ask all these questions. We have tic-tac-toe up here, okay? So
Okay.
you came up because you heard about Zora.
Uh-huh.
So I was going to ask you a question, but see, I got flustered here. But the thing is, I want to know your position on Ryan. How do you feel? And what do you think that man's going through?
Well, as I said, I don't want to speak about Ryan. I haven't up until this point, and I don't plan on changing that right now. You know, maybe one day I will speak my full thoughts on Ryan, but
What does that
as of
even
right
mean?
now,
Why would you even? What is it that you're hiding? Why are you so afraid of saying what you want to say about Ryan? I mean, if you
it's not
feel
that
a
I'm
certain way
afraid.
about some man, just say it.
It's not that I'm afraid of anything. It's just out of respect right now. I just don't want
Respect to
to
who?
get into respect to Gypsy and her divorce proceedings.
Yeah, because that sounds like it would be something that would affect the divorce.
Okay, so
I do have a
after the
question.
divorce, we're going to hear you start talking about Ryan.
Maybe so, maybe not. I don't have the interest of coming in here and just absolutely bashing people or
Gypsy, most likely before she had somebody else, or at least not before parole. See, that's the thing. She's on parole. He's not hiding anything, and he's not afraid. She went hard on 7M because she knew she had the Netflix deal. She did go hard on 7M, and she did release. She made a snarky comment again today about Miranda, which we looked at on her Instagram.
you know, just
You don't
trying
have to
to.
bash. You just tell the truth,
Well,
like how you feel. What's
well,
wrong
you know,
with your
it's kind of
feelings?
synonymous. It's kind of synonymous. So I don't.
But here's the
I'm
thing,
not
I
Ken.
interested in
agree,
that right now.
Ken. He's like, fuck that.
But here's the thing, Ken.
It's okay to say you don't like him.
You've mentioned
I
No,
don't. Obviously, I don't, and I've got a lot to say. I'm not saying it right now.
Ken, you brought up Gypsy is getting hate everywhere on the internet. I just want all right? Maybe you don't know, but I'm going to tell you. She's going to get that for the rest of her life.
I'm fully aware of that.
Okay,
And
this is true crime.
my
No one
my
forgets.
position in this relationship is to try and keep her head above water, trying to keep her healing, and trying to keep her eyes forward, because that's all that we can do. We can't spend our entire day talking about the negativity, dwelling on the negativity, doom scrolling through negative content, because that's only going to hurt her mental health and her progression and ours as a couple and
Has
hers
she
family.
thought about maybe not going the end?
Agreed.
So it was KJ who would have secured contracts to all the people involved to have them exclusively. I think so. I could never work out why she could never get Gypsy as an interview, because that would have been a great story to have. Or is that really why it fell apart? If he wants that, then they need to get off the internet.
Hold on. About not going the influencer route and maybe doing something a little more.
Is the money too
humbling.
good is what she's asking.
Gypsy is doing Gypsy. She is putting out content.
She's
that
never
she wants
going to
to
make
put
it
out.
as an influencer.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, well listen.
Nothing. I'll be quiet.
Nobody has said that she wants to be anything. She's not titling herself in anything. She's just being her. She posted about her birthday. She posted about her makeup tutorial. She's just living her life as she wants to live it, as anybody else would or could or wants to. She's not aiming for any specific direction. She's just living her life. And people are interested in her, people hate on her. And that's just the reality of the situation. But that's not going to stop her or hinder her from moving forward and living her life as she wants to. And
Hey,
it's
Ken. Hey Ken, was that silent live real, or was that like somebody else that did that and tried to post?
Short order says, and Gypsy is illegal as well, so he'd have a hand on this and say, KJ, so not get involved. Yeah, I don't know why you would hire. If you weren't wanting to do something on social media, you wouldn't hire a PR team, would you? I mean, that's what I would have thought. But again, I mean, there's an old saying that love is blind, right? He's obviously a little bit blinded. Or he said, don't listen to anything, and that's why more like money is blind. Well, that's true too.
Post on your behalf. Like I just want to know. Like I really don't care whether it was or not.
Silent live.
Silent live.
Yeah, there was a live that was posted. It was like supposedly, it was you with a black screen, and you were asking for money for Gypsy. I'm not saying that it was. I just want to know if it.
Fake. No.
Okay, cool. I'm just trying to verify things.
That's fine.
By the way,
yeah,
Ken,
dude,
as a
like-
man-to-man, I want to have a one-on-one interview with you.
Okay, let's do it.
And
Ken,
I don't
wanna
know how
talk
to get a hold of
too.
you. Okay.
I
know
mean,
you're blocked on TikTok, buddy.
Well, I could just make another one. I mean,
Why don't you
being
email
blocked
me?
on TikTok wasn't really anything for me.
I don't know how to
mattered
get a. How do I get a hold
I'm
of
not
you?
a content creator. I never posted any videos. I could just make another account.
And I want to talk.
done it.
I mean, try to
Okay, yes,
ask
yeah,
Gypsy to come up, and I would like to talk to
won't.
her too.
She
if
won't.
you
I'll tell you
both
that right
wanna
now that she
join.
won't.
You said something awesome that I did notice. You said, and I see that to me means you do care. You said without the screens, with all that, y'all are great.
But can I get an
They
answer
are
to
great.
that before, Ken?
Yeah, I'll email you.
I want a one-on-one
email
with you, and if
me.
Gypsy's
You can
willing,
email me.
I would
It's
love
my
to
first
talk to
and
her
last
as well.
name. It's my first and last name at gmail.com. So it's not.
Yes, he's about to spill his email address to everybody. I'll just skip that bit.
Information. The common denominator is that they're all content creators. It's despite Zora.
people bullied her out of it, but I don't see what would stop her from that. Like, I understand that she feels sensitive to it, but if she really wanted to advocate, she doesn't have to talk about specific other cases. She could just discuss what it is. And I don't understand why she doesn't just do that. It seems more simple, I guess, to me than it might be.
I think that she has a lot to learn on this advocacy route. I think the very first route of advocacy that she took was advocating for that friend of hers, Millie, and she made that video back in the day. She, and then according to her parole, she is not allowed to have any kind of communications with anybody else in prison or anybody else who's a felon or anybody else who is actively committing felonious behavior that she's aware of. So
which
that
she
is
has
why
and been warned now by her PO.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But so going forward, until she's off parole, she really can't dive into specific cases because she can't communicate with specific people who may or may not be in the prison system. So, there's two things I want to say. So going back to the whole Katie Joy thing, that is, so, Katie Joy was unfortunately a friend of hers that she confided in who turned on her because the relationship soured. That is also why Zora turned on her, because she couldn't talk to Zora anymore because apparently Zora has told her that she is an active addiction. And I am not throwing shade on that in any way.
Ken, there's
I
a
am
pattern
recovered
here,
addict
no?
myself. So I know how it is. However, yeah, it is a pattern. It's a bad pattern of her.
There's a lot of people. There's Fancy Miss Ellie.
Yep.
There's Katie Joy. There's now Zora.
And there's other names too, and it's unfortunate that she trusts these people and confides.
So who's the common denominator?
I'm just saying that these people, they get information, and the common denominator is that they're all content creators. It's, despite Zora, except for Zora, the common denominator is that they're all content creators, and they garner all this information, and then they realize they can make content off of it and profit and capitalize off.
What are your thoughts on that? Is he just speaking through his butt? I think that's what mOrBiD was trying to allude to.
Of the drama. So then they turn on her and they release everything.
So that's Ken, what was Christy's reaction to Katie Joy turning after all these years?
I'm not sure. I haven't talked to her about it specifically. But I'm sure she's hurt.
She must be upset.
Why did it call him Kate?
But what about, Gypsy also feeding into the drama by responding to people, by recognizing the negative comments, and by contacting TMZ and sending them pictures and circulating things like that?
It could be plausible that she's giving him notes or sending him messages with what to say too. The common denominator, except for Zara, Ken the Charmer.
Like that.
Well, I need a more specific example than that. I mean, I'm just saying that
Okay,
in terms of the first part of your
or
question about her commenting about things, I think that she just has a normal instinctual reaction like most of us, that when people are talking about us, we want to defend ourselves. And I don't fault her for that. I'm guilty of the same thing. It got me banned on TikTok. So I think it's a normal reaction for most people to want to defend themselves.
Right, but if you don't want drama, that's kind of playing into drama.
You could argue that, or you could also argue that it's fighting against the drama. It goes both ways.
Ken, here's the thing. Okay, do you know Sesbury?
I do know her, yeah.
Okay. So good friends with your girl, right? Your baby mama.
They are good friends.
Christy,
yes.
Correct?
And I do like Bree.
Okay, so why is she doxing people like Hello Starlight here, and why is she calling people's jobs and stuff? I mean, is that's something you want?
I've heard of it. That's
your
the
girl
first
to be a part of?
Okay, well, to answer your question, this is the first I've heard of it. I have no idea if any of that is even true. And
oh, it's true.
So
you got Starlight over here.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I will just say that I don't think it's okay to dox anyone.
So you think he is probably coached?
But I don't know that I don't know all the facts of this situation. I'm totally ignorant to it, so I can't speak on any of that.
She's not going to tell you the truth, so. And we're not lying
Well,
here.
then provide your truth, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Provide my okay, Starlight. You want? I mean, she's
No,
Yeah,
okay, sure.
there's proof.
threatening. But here's the thing: why would you want that individual to
Called
represent?
me.
Thank you, short order. That's lovely. Thank you. Oh, because I'm awesome. Thank you. I've had to sit through this twice. It's like sitting through the pain of Katie Joy a couple of times, isn't it? Thank you, short order. Very much appreciative.
You know, she was calling people's
I don't-
job.
I
Okay.
don't know.
And
She called
I
Nina's
just
job, and
look personally, and I'm just a nobody. But Bree does Gypsy no favors. If anything, she only creates more problems.
Okay,
She
well,
does make her look
I'm
bad.
not gonna
She does
lie
make
and
her
say
look
that I
bad.
know the extent of their. I don't talk to Bree. We're not in full friendship, so I can't speak on anything that goes on between her and Gypsy. I do know that Bree has been a supporter.
Now, interestingly, I believe that Bree woman left when he came on panel. Leave him out of it. He's a kept man who knows. Well, that's right, because he knows who his golden goose is, right? Yes, he said he's employed. He said he's got a job. He just can't say where it is because he doesn't want that his job destroyed. But yeah, he says he's got a job.
Of Gypsy and has been her friend for a long time. I don't know about anything that you guys are talking about in terms of doxing or whatever.
dude, she
But
was. I was sniping her on a live stream a few days ago. She was gonna tell Becca Scoops. She's like, I'm coming after you next, Becca Scoops. I have it on live a few days ago. She's threatening.
Yeah,
Becca.
dude. Like
But
She
Ken,
look,
said
like
she's gonna
Well,
play
I will give
all
I will
of
give a blanket statement, and this goes for all creators on all platforms and everything, and it goes for myself too. I don't agree with any kind of doxing or any kind of
Yeah.
harassment of anyone's jobs, especially because I've already seen how dangerous that is. That happened to my friend Justin last week, who's
Yeah,
yes,
you guys have
Justin
heard
was
that
a
whole.
big deal.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you guys have heard about that
dots.
drama. So
I
yeah,
heard
y'all want
about
to
it.
hear
Yeah,
about that? I mean, that was my coworker / best friend, like homie, to the T. And like that's our sense of humor. That's just how we fuck with each other. Sometimes we talk to each other like that. That's just, I mean, if you know, some homies, that's just how it is.
so
But like
like
what I
gay
don't agree with,
humor, like I'm gonna f you,
No,
bro.
man. No, look,
literally,
my
that's all
Yeah.
I
that
do
can
have.
be said
I
about
do
it.
have
I mean,
feelings, yeah.
there's not much more a better way to explain it than that. It's just the way it is, and there's no seriousness behind it. It's just we're just homies. We're good friends. We're
Yeah.
lifelong friends.
Okay, one question.
Now,
Did you
But
work
I
on
wanted
a
to
song?
finish real quick. So the internet was, I mean, if y'all go to his Facebook page and read the whole thread where we talked about all this drama, it's just hilarious. It's a good laugh. But a lot of people were like finding out where he worked and we're calling his job and we're trying to get him in trouble and trying to get him. And I don't agree with anything like that. Absolutely not. So
No, that's not
I can
okay.
never defend behavior like that. So I don't know the truth to the extent of any of these claims, but just as a blanket statement, I will say that I don't condone or support anything like that.
Why is it
so
that you feel?
Ken,
Because Ash Too Trippy is in the chat, and
Uh-oh.
why did you feel compelled to address something so ridiculous if it's not true of you being
that's
gay
exactly
or bisexual and
that's
unprotected
what I was
sex
gonna
with
ask.
men?
Well, I mean, just like I was at home. I scrolled past the video. She talked about how she had this pure, definite, 100% proof. So I was just like, okay, let's see it. I mean, if you can picture me writing the comments I was writing, I was laughing. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the fact that there was no proof to be shown and watching them fall over themselves. Like I was having fun with it, realizing that obviously because it can't be proven because it's not true. Just watching these people have this full-on confidence, they have all this truth and facts and proof, but yet can't show any of it. Just watching them basically get trolled by other people. If they are in fact talking to somebody who's claiming these things, they're being trolled.
So yeah, I mean, I haven't watched much beyond this. So it was on for a while.
I was enjoying it.
So Katie Joy, without a crystal ball, she's
in the chat.
claiming that you're
Oh,
not the
shit.
father.
I am 110% the father. This is just normal hater rhetoric aimed at just causing drama in Gypsy's life by claiming this kind of ridiculous bullshit, claiming that, you know, I'm not the father, claiming that I physically abused Gypsy because there was one picture where she had like a blue mark on her cheek, claiming that I'm gay, I'm bi, I have all these gay relationships. You know, it's just all bullshit misinformation aimed for one reason only, and it's caused chaos in Gypsy's life. It's just pure hater behavior.
Okay,
So,
hold on. Ken. Once again, dude, hold on. Let's everybody, let's just bring it back down. Like, let's not be like this. Like,
oh, I'm
fuck
chill.
whatever the. No, I know. I'm just trying to make everything like comfortable because, like, I don't like.
It's all good.
I like everything being positive and stuff. Like, I like everybody just be like chill. Like, I love the fact that I don't want you to like get overwhelmed or anything like that because I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I just want to make sure that.
Well, I'm in a
I
room
just
of,
want to
what is it, 7 against 1? But yeah, I'm good.
No.
This was today, Vidandra. Vidandra, this was today. This all happened today.
I'm not talking.
Do you really feel that way though, Ken?
I'm just
Seriously?
teasing. I'm
Do
just
you
teasing.
mean
I'm not
Go ahead. I didn't mean to
okay,
cut you off. Go ahead.
Ken,
That's very nice.
because Ken, I fucks with you. I've been wondering what, like, I've been wondering. Bye, baby. I've been wondering what's going on. Like, you know, I just have questions. You know, I just want to know
I
what's
mean,
going on.
the
I think
whole world
most of
has
these people do.
get it.
Oh yeah, everybody wants to know what's going on. I'm just trying to
So,
break everything down and keep it
real
calm and
quick.
everything like that.
So you know, initially came up because Zora was up here. What was it that she was saying that you like absolutely
Well,
wanted to
what
shoot
specifically set
down?
me off was her lying about how Gypsy, or I guess she wasn't exactly saying she was, but she was kind of like speculating that Gypsy's actively using Suboxone,
Oh,
which
okay.
is 100%
That's
a lie
understandable.
and would
Yeah.
violate her parole and get her in trouble, which is just built off of just BS. So that's what prompted me to come in here and say, okay, this person who was literally your best friend like 2 weeks ago, y'all were having these fun, giggly, happy conversations, but because you had to cut her off because your PO told you you can't talk to certain people, and she respectfully said,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't talk to you right now because I don't want to get in trouble with my parole officer. Then she wants to go haywire, and then now jump on the hate wagon and go on to your panel and start talking a bunch of shit about Gypsy.
Okay.
Well,
So
her story.
Hold on one second. I just need
real
to say
quick, let me
this.
finish.
She's saying KJ is running. Yeah, she's saying Christy's running a cult. It's very interesting, isn't it? Of course, it's predictable. Please.
Sorry, Starlight. Just we've got 10 people on panel. There were people that can't come up. So can we do a roll call here? Who's here and who's not? Who wants to drop off, and then allow a couple more people to come up here? I don't know if people are sleeping or whatnot. Or,
I'm here.
No one wants to get off.
I'm here.
all right.
Bug.
So go ahead, Nicole. You here or not? Okay. All right. So go ahead, Starlight. Sorry.
Okay. So her story is that
she would say I was running a cult. Yeah.
You know, Gypsy had made all these promises of advocacy for Amelia and promise, you know, was hyping up the Kim Kardashian thing, saying that, you know, Kim was going to do something for Amelia. And that is what started the downfall of their friendship.
If you saw the live chat, she was jumping up and down in the live chat. Let me just see if I can pull up the stuff that I had taken. Yeah, here we go. Some of the stuff she said. It's typical KJ stuff. We'll just have a break from this for a minute. Share screen. No, where is it? Should be. Here it is. So, for example, this one. Like that one. And this one. Gypsy told me she's been accusing Ryan to turn people against him. So it says, please put Katie Joy on panel. People wanting Katie Joy on the panel. And then she says, and then she said again, I've just seen the time. Is it that one? I'm a survivor. I'm a cult survivor of Krusty's cult. She calls her Krusty. Then there is, what's this one? Oh yeah, something. I cut some of it off, but you can sort of see. Oh yeah, here we go. This one. She will never advocate for him. She blames him for everything. So that's about Nick. And then there's this one. I know, that's what I said when I first heard it. It says it's, so right up the top here, it's terrible to date a murderer. So that is some of the stuff that she wrote in the chat. So she was going on, and there was lots of that. Okay, yeah. So he talks about, I know he talks about the fact that he did 4 hours of interviews and they didn't show the whole thing. And anyway,
I hear my side on that.
Yeah.
So with the whole Kim Kardashian thing, it kind of goes back to what I said like a few minutes ago about how when I gave my interview for Lifetime, I gave a 4-hour interview minus a lunch break, so about 3 hours. They boiled that down to about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of screen time. And that's how it goes in the television world. So I imagine that Gypsy had her meeting with Kim Kardashian, and she did talk about Millie and Millie's case. However, Hulu and the Kardashian show boiled that interview down to just her asking Gypsy questions and made it like a whole, like, what, 5-minute segment, 10-minute segment, something like that. So just because it wasn't shown in the show doesn't mean that Gypsy didn't do what she said she was going to do and speak on Millie's behalf. So she's upset with Gypsy for the wrong reasons. The Kardashian show ultimately decides what they're going to put on the show and take out what they don't want on the show. So
yeah,
she can't help that.
That's what you said, short order. So short orders just back that up. She said that's out of their hands. Even what's shown on there on the documentary that she did was out of their hands as well.
So
there's an unfair reason to be mad at Gypsy for.
Yeah.
So there's word out there that Gypsy doxed your ex. Is there any truth to that, or do you know anything about that? Or
I don't think there's any truth behind that. No.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen it happen, so no.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I got so many questions, but I'm just letting people come up and share. Like, we have Ash 2 Trippy in the chat. We have Katie Joy. You mentioned them, and I don't know if they want to come up and talk to you. If they want, I don't know, or if you even want to talk to them.
What do you think about everything that?
I'm not afraid of talking to anybody, but I just feel like it's going to become a heated conversation. But I'm not afraid to talk to anybody.
What do you think about everything that's been put out by Katie Joy?
I think that it's terrible. I think that it sucks that, and there's a reason why Katie Joy has like, I mean, I had to fact check this, but from what I've heard, she's got like more than a dozen lawsuits against her because it's terrible that she goes on her platform and takes all this information that was confided in her through friendship. And then once it turns sour, she goes and releases everything. And it's just a terrible, part of your character to do something like that, and you were a friend of the family for 5 years.
I have to say, he's right.
And then to then go, to flip on your content creator switch and just like be a complete betrayer of trust and put out all private conversations via text, via DMs, etc. Something that I would never do. I'm not gonna, if I ever have a DM conversation or a text conversation, I'm not gonna screenshot it and then put them on blast for it. That's just, I just think that that's a gross thing to do as anybody. And that's exactly what she's done. She's trying to profit off of the trust that she built with Gypsy through betrayal and hop on the hate train, because that's what gets a lot of views to her channel. So I think that it's just a terrible thing.
But that's no secret. She's been doing this for years and years and years, and I think she's potentially on her 6th lawsuit at the moment. So
yeah, her 6th one.
It's well known that if you divulge any information privately.
Talking about lawsuits, Ken, I mean, your girl's suing, or was suing, Good Wives Network for something.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's another thing. I don't have any information on that. That was all kind of done before I even came into the picture. That's between them and her family. I don't have much to say on that because I'm not privy to all the facts or information of that case.
Now, are you part of the? Have you signed a contract with the PR company or?
Yeah, isn't it funny? That's why she posted and said he went off because he called her out.
No, I have not. I have not. I have not. I am just, I am Gypsy's boyfriend, and I am the father of our upcoming child. I am.
Which is why I'm wondering.
So why don't you propose? What's up with the proposing? You're just waiting for the divorce
still
proceedings?
married.
I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. She's married.
You could
She's
still propose.
legally married.
I mean,
I'm waiting for the right time. Okay, that's all that I have to say.
okay.
I think that's pretty evident and obvious that I'm, like she has some.
Did you get
stages
paid for the Lifetime season 2? Because you
no,
had some part of it. Yeah, a couple episodes there.
I was not a paid regular appearance. However, I'm not allowed to discuss financials.
So yes, you did.
Via contract.
You got paid for a couple episodes, maybe.
You had to have. You can't
I
just
guess you
sign a
can't say.
contract.
I'm not allowed
Yeah,
to
you
talk
can't
about
say.
any financial information on that.
Okay, so yes, you got paid. Just can't say
It doesn't matter. I signed a contract that I'm not allowed to talk about it.
It's ongoing because they have another season coming out. All right, season 3 coming out
That's
soon.
actually not true, but that isn't the reason why. But
if Gypsy's saying like, "Hey, I don't want our baby, your baby, right, to be a part of the media or in the public eye," yet she's doing, TikToks or whatever, or like hearing the heartbeat and so on and so forth.
Okay, well, that's totally different. What she's saying is that she doesn't want, when the baby is born, to be like a media circus for the camera, to use the baby to like have a new show, or that's what she's saying. She's not talking about the pregnancy now.
Are you confirming that Lifetime is no longer? You guys aren't going to do it because the baby's going to come around come January.
I'm not confirming or denying anything.
She's just gonna put it all on social media, all over TikTok.
Why are we speaking on things that haven't happened yet? The baby's not due until January 22nd. I can't tell you what's going to happen. Okay, and I'm not trying to be fiery. I'm just saying I can't speak on these things. The baby's not born yet.
I understand, because I know that there's like how many of us, and there's one of you, and I do understand that. But it did say at the end, to be continued, and I think even Gypsy commented on that herself. The last episode of the series.
Would it be normal for him to have a contract even if he wasn't paid short order? So they needed you up there short order to tell them how it works.
Said to be continued, which would lead any audience to believe that potentially there's going to be a follow-up per se.
I think she mentioned it in a live too, though.
Yeah, I think so. So
Ken, I think there's this misconception.
I have nothing to report on that right now.
I think there's this misconception that you think, or maybe Gypsy thinks, again, I don't know her and I never spoke with her, that you feel like people hate on her, right? People just don't like her. They're jealous of the money. I don't know. I don't know what your thinking is on that, but I want to correct you on that. People are more like, hey, look, no one should be monetizing or making money off of a tragedy such as your mother being unalived and you being a huge part of it. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, as a human,
I think that Gypsy has a story to tell, and she's just telling her story. It's not her fault that people want to hear it, that networks want to produce it, that people want to interview her about it. You know, that is just the way the world is right now. They want to hear her story.
Okay, maybe in contract that may be a separate contract. It may be deferred payment depending on what was what. Okay, so he could be under contract, but okay.
And she's there to tell it, and that's all that there is to say about that. Now, in terms of what you said about her being about the haters thing, when there are people who are deliberately trying to cause harm and hate and chaos into her life by calling her verbally abusive names and spreading horrible misinformation to defame her character, and I'm not talking about the crime, I'm talking about henceforth, and just leave nasty verbally abusive horrific things in her comment sections that nobody would say to another person in real life. That's what I'm talking about, hate. And now and luckily on the plus side, whenever Gypsy and I, or whenever Gypsy encounters somebody in the real world, they come up to her, they have nothing but the nicest, literally 100%.
but you know how the world works. It's the same with celebrities, right?
It's like, if you open yourself, if you open, I don't mean to interrupt, but if you open yourself up, it's the same way any of us on here, and I do have my name, my real name, and my photo and stuff like that. If you open yourself up on social media, you do open yourself up to critique, criticism. Not everybody's, not everyone's gonna like you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, she is obviously letting it affect her.
And cyberbullying. When people think that it's funny or okay to make fun of her eye condition, or the fact that she licks her lips because she had her salivary glands removed, and they make filters about that, and they like mimic that.
Again, she called you a Chad, and that she has a man. She's putting down people in that the same sense that you're
putting down
about.
anybody. She's not putting down anybody. That was just a meme to have.
You don't have a man, and my man wouldn't touch you with the 10-foot pole. That's not putting down somebody.
That was a meme in response.
The last I checked, you don't have.
Oh, when did you do that? Oh, she's just. Oh yeah, we did that, didn't we? Oh yes. Well, he said he had a contract. Not that he never said he was paid. We heard it. He couldn't discuss it.
Ken, remember when she was
Hold
on the
on, let him,
podcast? Sorry, I apologize.
Because you're complaining about these physical things, and look, I'm not agreeing with. I'm not saying, hey, that's I bust jokes here. I don't make fun of, make funny, but I understand what you're saying, and I'm sure there's a lot of haters there for Gypsy in the comments and say vile things. I get a lot of that, but that's a part of social media.
Right? Go to Eugenia Cooney's lives. Those are everybody treated so horribly. It's everywhere.
It's terrible. I hate to see it. It's awful. And I think TikTok is the absolute worst. Like, it's got the most horrific comment sections because anybody can hide behind an anonymous account in like literally 3 seconds.
Well, you should know you got banned. No, that was.
I don't know.
I did get banned, but I don't have another one. So any other account they're claiming to be me is not real. And I don't plan on making another one. I just have my Instagram now, and that's fine. But
it's like that across the board. I feel like it doesn't matter.
That's just the internet, sure. But can you blame me for wanting to defend her and protect her from that kind of bullying and harassment?
It's not just some regular schmegular person on the internet. It's Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and she has to live with the fact that crime is stuck to her for life. And a lot of people think that Nicholas Godejohn was manipulated and he didn't get justice. And
what are your thoughts on Nicholas Godejohn?
Yeah. My thoughts on Nicholas. I'll keep this short and sweet on Nicholas.
No, keep it long and juicy.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I want to know.
I don't
What
understand
do you think?
how anybody thinks that this guy got an unfair trial and is advocating for his release. This is a person who admitted and pled guilty to straddling somebody and stabbing them to death. Whether or not he was coerced or whatever you want to add to it, that's fine. But there is a darkness that has to present in somebody, that has to live in somebody to be able to actually commit and act like that.
So this is where he started to lose me at this time, because we know that Gypsy played a part in it.
To be able to travel across state lines, to straddle somebody, stab them to death, and you want this person to be released. I don't know how that makes any sense.
But Gypsy's the only one that has bruises that show that she was straddling and punching and struggling.
Okay, so that's just a conspiracy theory that I'm not even going to dive into, because there's no evidence behind it. It wasn't shown in court. It wasn't even talked about in court. That's just more conspiracy. Okay, so I'll speak on that for a second too. So
Ken,
Nick said in his
number one, I would say something, but I'm not. I'm gonna wait until us do an interview together. Okay.
Can I just say, as a person
other people are up
autism,
on panel.
this is why I have an interest, and this is why, this is what got me into this in the first place, actually, to be perfectly honest, because I have autism, right? And I have been in abusive relationships, and I've been easily coerced and manipulated myself, not to the point where I've created a heinous crime, because that's, in my eyes, what it was. I feel that he wasn't given a fair trial, and he had poor defense. And
listen, I mean, I all that I can say is that if you commit an act like that, if you straddle someone and you stab them to death, and you carve a V into her, or with his finger or whatever it was, he drew a V into her for Victor, leaving a signature of his name behind. If you commit something like that, you commit a murder, you admit to it in an interrogation, you deserve to be in prison. I don't understand what was unfair about that, his defense or not. He admitted to it in his interrogation.
Yes,
so therefore, there really isn't much of a defense to play after that.
Ken, there's no dispute. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
He was also asked.
Let me talk to Ken real quick. Ken, there's no dispute that Nicholas did the act. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
In
all
all
right.
fairness, though, you can
I want to speak on the conspiracy for a second, where people want to talk about how he said he only did it 4 times.
Did you not?
Okay.
Okay. So what? No, but what I want to say is, did you not see Gypsy's Facebook post?
Yeah, I saw it.
In
I think
regards to her
everyone saw
mom.
it.
And what's your theory about that?
I don't have a theory about that.
Or what is your, I guess, opinion on that? Because that's pretty horrific, and because you're painting Nicholas as this vile, disgusting monster, which I'm not disagreeing.
Anything.
I'm not disagreeing in a
saying
sense.
I'm not painting Nicholas as anything. I'm just simply stating the facts. He committed the crime. He committed the act. He admitted to it.
But why did he commit the crime? Who was the mastermind behind that? And
he also said in his interrogation that Gypsy did not help him. So then for people to say that he also said he only did it 4 times, but also said Gypsy didn't help him, like, which one is it? So maybe he wasn't counting, you know?
Yeah,
do you imagine?
Okay, yeah, potentially. But he also said, when he was asked, have you ever considered, like, murdering people before, or do you think you would kill anyone, or blah, blah, blah? He said no.
Gypsy did try to kill Dee Dee before when she shot her.
But sorry, what's his name? Sorry, Nicholas's answer was no. The only reason that he did it was because he truly believed in his heart of hearts that was the only way that they two could be together. Now, that came straight from his mouth. Now, people that are sort of low IQ, that do have autism, and potentially, and I could say that he does have, obviously, psychological illness, potential psychiatric illnesses. They are not likely to have the capacity to be manipulative or lie. They're usually going to be quite straightforward. And I've worked with autism as well as being autistic, so I know this. Not that I'm an expert, but do you know what I mean?
In all fairness, In all fairness, sorry, Apple, I'm so sorry,
No,
sweetheart.
no, go
In all
for it.
fairness and devil's advocate, Ken, you can understand feeling protective over her.
Yeah, obviously.
You're being protective over her now.
Yeah.
So in a certain way, he was
I've
doing
always
the same
defended
thing.
her.
And that's what he thought he was doing too.
And sure, okay, that may be the case, but he still did what he did, and I think he deserves to be where he is.
Do you not think he should be in some kind of like institution where he's under supervision? Obviously, not let into the free
That's
world.
not the point. The point is, look, there's no dispute.
I'm not sure.
Nick did what he did. Okay, Ken? There's no dispute here.
I'm not sure if there's a full transcript of the trial. But it's interesting how, he's diminishing Gypsy's role. And I mean, she did. I mean, I know she did do her time. I'm not denying that.
Okay. I don't want the guy out as much as you don't want him out.
Okay.
We're talking about Gypsy now. Okay.
Okay.
Like, she was not innocent in this whole ordeal.
I know she wasn't.
was the
That's why she served 10
mastermind
years.
behind it. You not understand
Or 8.5.
that. We could talk about that.
She had a part to play. She did her
She had
time.
a
I knew
huge
that she
part to
was
play.
okay, right, and that's why she was sentenced to what she got. She
But
did
Ken,
her
would
time.
you
and I think that she
agree?
deserved a second chance.
But Ken, would you agree that if it wasn't for Gypsy, Nicholas would not even be a part of this discussion right about now with Dee Dee's
I'm sure
death?
that goes true for a lot of crimes that happen in the world. If so and so didn't meet so and so, maybe so and so wouldn't have happened. That goes true for almost every crime out there.
Well, she did, but he's, as I said, and look, he is right. She has done her time, whether or not we like it. She's done her time. That's the thing. She's done her time. But for him to say that stuff and say, well, he has to be a monster, well, she has to be as well.
There.
Well, he's serving
That's
life.
not the question. That's not the question. The question was,
Yeah, that was a straw man.
it's specifically about Gypsy and Nick's case. We're not talking about Casey. We're not talking about Chris. We're not talking about Pamela. We're not talking about Jennifer. We're not talking about them. We're talking about your girlfriend.
Right.
Okay. So all we're asking is, do you think that all of this would have gone down without your girlfriend's input, without your girlfriend's manipulation, without, even if you don't want to use the word manipulation?
Okay. I think that a tornado met a volcano. They were both in terrible situations. And that Gypsy was in a very vulnerable spot, and that she felt that this was her only way out, and that she was, and then that she, orchestrated this with Nick, and it's a tragedy. It's a horrific tragedy that happened. But
you mentioned Gypsy's vulnerable state of mind, but you don't mention anything about Nicholas's state of mind, having autism on the spectrum.
I'm sure he was
pregnant.
I'm not denying that he was autistic. I'm not denying that he may have been in a vulnerable mindset as well. However, the tragedy still happened, and it was.
He is autistic. He's not past tense. Whereas Gypsy was considering Dee Dee in
I'm
past
not
tense,
disagreeing with you. I'm saying that maybe I misspoke when I said he in a past tense.
The problem isn't the time; it's the profit and the complaint disregard for Nick. Who was that speaking on part? I'm not sure.
He is. Okay.
Sorry, Ken. Have you seen the video that was taken by Gypsy herself in the hotel room? I think it was either the same night or the night after. I believe it was potentially the same night, where she was filming Nick and laughing and joking. And I mean, there could be a number of reasons for
She's
that.
talking about the brownie video.
Yeah, the brownies and
Ken.
No, seriously though, because that doesn't strike me as someone that's in a vulnerable position. If I had seen or
well, she wants to get your thoughts on that.
He was finally free for the first time, and living off of the excitement of finally being free from being a prisoner.
Excitement.
But you just killed your bloody mom. Do you know what I mean?
It's cold.
You also have to realize that part of her story, and I think this is why people get fascinated with it, is there's no actual proof of anything other than her word.
Because
and I think that's why people speculate so much.
Yeah,
because she's
the
the only person.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Anarchy. Sorry, you're right. You're totally right. I know what
You're
you're saying.
fine, sweetheart.
Look, I can't
sorry,
speak
what?
for everybody else, Ken. Look, I don't hate your girl. Okay.
Nobody.
I don't
Yeah.
agree with what she's done.
He does, in my opinion, he does minimalize it all.
Okay, just as much as I don't agree with
I don't
what
either.
Nicholas has done.
It's not like she celebrates it, you know. It's a horrific tragedy that happened in her life, and all that she can do at this point going forward is try to move on and keep her eyes forward, and try and live a happy life as best she can and progress as best she can. And that's all that I'm trying to help her do as her partner, as the future father of our child.
But as
Is
somebody being a
as a
victim,
support.
right? Like she's a victim, right? Of abuse.
She is a victim, yes.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
So why did she want to be so public being a social media influencer, as it says in her bios, like on Instagram? Like
she came out of prison,
but Ken,
and
you know she's making money off of the infamy. She's not famous, she's infamous.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, I never said that she was famous,
So
and I don't
that's a
think that I don't.
problem.
She doesn't walk around either saying that she's famous. You know,
He does sound like her father, not the boyfriend. Yes, you are right. It does sound like that.
she's well known from her case. Okay, and she has a
That's all
story to
she's
tell.
known for.
And people want, okay, so be it as of right now. And people want to hear her story. People want to hear about her life as she's moving forward and what changes that she's making in her life. She's only been out for a handful of months. She still has a long way to go, and
7
she's doing
months,
great
yeah.
so far.
She's done a lot in the few months she's been out.
She's got a great support system. She's got a great family behind her. I'm there for her in every way that I can be. Unfortunately, a few friends of hers have betrayed her. It's happened several different times in the last 8 months. But all that she can do is try to live her life and be happy, as any one of us are. We want to live
Again,
our
I
life.
could go in depth with you, but can we save that for another time? I want to allow other people on panel to talk to you. Like I could monopolize this with a conversation with you. But if you're willing to come back, as you said, and we could reconnect, I'd appreciate that. I think I'm fair, right, Ken? I don't want to keep interrupting you. That's why.
No, I don't feel like this has been like an ambush of any kind. I understand the questions y'all have, and I'm trying to answer them the best I can. And I am answering them honestly.
Okay.
This is just how I feel about Gypsy and how I feel about her growth.
Well,
that's good. And that's good. I like how you're supportive of, look, all bullshit aside, and
How would she ever keep muscle tone while she was stuck in a wheelchair? Yeah, well, that's a good question. I just wanted to know why he took her to the Ritz if she didn't like any of the food on there, and they went and had expensive Caesar salad. That's what I want to know.
y'all can say whatever the fuck you want to say about me. I don't give a fuck. Ken, I mean, where the situation that you're in, dude, you're doing good fucking supporting your girlfriend. Like, let's put all bullshit aside. Like, let's put this in a perspective of like girlfriend, boyfriend. I mean, you're doing fucking pretty good. I'll give you that credit.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
So you mentioned
Positive thing I've seen
cyberbullying.
in my name.
You've mentioned cyberbullying. There has been cyberbullying in return to other people as well, though.
Okay, let's talk about that.
And she's done it back to people. I mean,
so
I don't know if
so be it. He thinks should be known for all her other endearing. Yeah, well, we don't know what those endearing qualities are, do we?
I know that it's not right
at somebody
to bully
who's
her. It's not fair to bully her, but it's not fair to bully back either. I know that sounds like it's kind of like the eye for an eye kind of thing.
Makes the whole world
Nobody
blind.
can see.
Yeah.
You become what you hate.
I think that there's nothing wrong with clapping back in defense at people who leave the most vile in her. I mean, if you guys could only see the DMs that both her and I get on the daily, they are the most monstrous and terrible things you could say to somebody.
But you shouldn't concentrate on them.
And she's for the first time out on her own, to a sense, in the real world. She's still under parole, but she's trying to, live a happy life and grow and move on. And these people are so horrifically awful to her and leave them
I'd say so. I was wondering the same. I said it's just shellfish. You might catch me eating somewhere famous for their seafood. Well, it did say also that there might be traces of seafood in the normal food as well. So, you know how they always put that disclaimer in? So, to me, it would have been dangerous. You know, if you didn't like it, why go there? I think he's also minding his P's and Q's as well. And don't forget, he doesn't want to get her into trouble while her divorce is going on either.
The most verbally abusive and terrible comments in her sections and DMs all the time. And I think that eventually it gets to a point where she wants to clap back. And there's, you know, I'm not saying that it's right, but it's definitely understandable, if anything. She's not going in there and starting it. She's just answering back.
I understand, Ken, but do you know what that does? Because this has happened to me personally, and I'm not going on about me. But I mean, I've been a subject to terrible like doxing and everything, the whole 9 yards. The best thing that I've found is not to respond, not to like allow it into your psyche. So don't read the messages, don't look at the bad comments. I know it's difficult, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of. It's really difficult, but if you're exposing yourself, if you're both exposing yourself to that every single day, it's any growth.
Believe me, I'm right there with you, and I totally agree. And I've tried to give her that advice. I've tried to give myself that advice, and for the most part, I mean, lately I have.
Difficult.
But for her, it's difficult.
It's going to
because her life is on an everyday display, and I think it's a natural reaction to want to go and see what people are saying. I try to, you know, let's just get out of the house today. Let's put the phones away and go live real life, and let's go hang out with your dad. Let's go hang out with Chrissy. Let's go do something and make a memory instead of burying our face in social media comments.
Yeah,
but
because
at the end of the day,
you just have to consider them as nameless, faceless avatars that they're not important.
And remember, Katie was in the comments putting her 2 cents worth in as well. I wonder who tipped her off that Ken was on panel. Someone had to have told her, because she would not just be watching SiR mOrBiD for the fun of it, other than the fact that she probably knew that her friend was going to be on there. Oh yeah, but there was more. I don't know why he said that. Well, that is also correct too, short order.
You know, they're not important to you or Gypsy. So
what you're saying is
agree.
Gypsy has a hard time not reading the negative comments.
I'm not saying that she reads them constantly all day, every day, but eventually they do, you know, pop up and she will read some of them. And of course, it would put a damper on anyone's mental health and kind of ruin their day when they see the things that she sees. And I try to implore her to stop looking and just, you know, get your head out of there and let's be optimistic. Let's be positive today, etc. It's a never ending battle. And I understand that will be the case.
Did she?
For a very, very, very long time, if not forever. But
no, you can switch off. You can honestly, you can switch off. It took me 5-6 years, but you can't.
So you know what, Ken? Tell Gypsy. Okay, she needs to fire her PR team. It sucks, man. There's no PR team out there that's going to help her. Okay, so whatever money you guys are putting into that, you should probably stop, because it's just you know, I'm just spitting facts. They're not going to help, because this thing is just going to keep going. She's infamous, man. She's well known for a terrible act, and people are going to follow her for the rest of her life. Ask Ted Bundy's mom. Ted Bundy's mom had nothing to do with it.
Well, that negativity is going to follow her forever.
Hold on one second. What did you say, Ken?
I think that Gypsy has a lot of great qualities, incredible qualities to show and to give back to people.
I'm not disputing that. Okay.
And I think
that's your personal experience with her. I don't.
Okay, let me just stop this. I am here. Here's what Miss Balls has said here. I am here. I'm just like, oh yeah. So there, I'm sure many people have tried to warn Zora, but sadly, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's former bestie Mila and her girlfriend Zora provide exclusive video of Gypsy finding out she's pregnant. There's that one. How it was stalked by Katie Joy. So there's that one. And then there's
blasting this information all over the internet.
Oh.
Katie Joy's views have changed on the Blanchards because 1. Gypsy blocked her and called her nosy, and 2. Her views and followers were tanking massively. She knew this would get her attention, and it worked. Think about who you're supporting. This woman supported the Blanchards for years, gathered up information, got exiled, and is now blasting this information all over the internet. Gypsy deserves no grace, but at the same time KJ is still an awful human for plastering all of this all over the internet because she's salty that she got blocked. This is typical KJ behavior. Katie Joy's views have changed on the Blanchards because 1. Gypsy blocked her and called her nosy, and 2. Her views and followers were tanking.
So she's put that. No, she was in the chat. Now I also heard Llama Girl said that Katie where is she? Llama Girl, where is she? Where's Llama Girl? Here she is, Llama Girl. Llama Girls actually said that. Hang on, where are they? Where is she? She put in her chat. I just saw it here. Oh, more comments about Gypsy. She wrote, oh yeah, here she goes. KJ joined the live chat, Sir Morbid. I saw her first 2 comments. I told her to go away and then she blocked me. Every other comment was Katie blocked me yesterday. And then, yeah. So there you go. I'm going to have to go in a minute. Sorry, I'm going to have to go in a minute. I don't know how much longer is he on for, because it's been. I was gone by about this time.
Have a personal experience with her. I'm just saying.
He didn't say to say what the PR team said. He said to say what Ken wants to say, and he's giving you advice because you're spewing PR right now.
I'm just.
I know
nothing
you
to
are.
do with her PR team. I've got nothing to do with any of that. That's her thing. That I have no involvement in. I have no involvement in her business side. I've got nothing to do with it.
I'm kind of like busting your balls about the PR team.
Apart from my appearance in the Lifetime show, and
okay.
Again, I'm busting your balls over the PR team because really you're wasting your money, or she's wasting her money on that because there's no PR team that's going to fix this.
That's your opinion. Okay.
I mean,
that's
you just
all we're
can't fix
saying,
it, man. It's a virus on.
Yeah, we're not gonna look at what Nina says or anything. But I just really wanted to look at Ken, what Ken has to say. To be fair.
I mean, at the end of the day, people are interested to talk about her. I mean, what are you doing right now? I mean, what do you do almost every other night?
Well,
that's
talk about true,
Gypsy.
But then it sways people's opinion, right? You're never going to get everybody as a collective. There's always going to be a divide.
Sure.
So that's just the reality. But Ken,
while
you can
Gypsy
never
has a lot of people who are anti and against her, she also has a lot of supporters and a lot of people who want to see growth and progress from her, and they want to see how her story unfolds. And she, unlike anyone else, has the right to tell that story. And if anybody wants to listen, they can listen. If you don't have to. But the point is, people do, hate her or not, they want to listen, they want to see, they want to tune in. And so she's just living her life, and whoever wants to watch it can watch it. If they don't, you don't have to.
You know what? I agree with you there. Like there's no argument with me on that. And I think a lot of people are just.
Well, that's cool. That's good. I was shopping, so I had my headphones in, kept shopping. And you'll leave? Oh, don't you have a public holiday this week too? On Monday?
not happy with the fact that she's monetizing off of her infamy. That's a big problem. And then people want justice for Nicholas.
That's your way of putting it, and with respect, that's okay. That's your way of putting it. But other people have other ways of putting it too.
But yes, you're right. But people want justice for Nicholas. Why couldn't she fight for him as a prison
She's
reform?
not allowed on terms of her parole. She is not allowed to have any contact, even third degree or third party contact with Nicholas in any form. She can't talk about him. She can't speak on him. She can't advocate for him. She can't do anything regarding Nick while she's on parole.
Okay. So are you telling us when she's...
buttercups.
I'm not telling you that.
Friday, Saturday, Friday and Tuesday. Oh, really?
Anything's
when
gonna
she's
happen
done with
she's on
parole, she'll fight?
I can't tell you anything. I'm not Gypsy. We'll have to see what happens in her life and what decisions that she decides to make based off of how she feels. And that's her story and her case to talk about. It's not mine. Even though I'm her
Fair
partner, that doesn't make it mine.
Hello,
I guess
She
I had
does
no
understand
idea how
that
to...
the infamy is going to follow her forever, though.
Of course it is. I mean, if you can't edit that out of her Wikipedia page. It's always going to be a part of her story, and that it is what it is.
So as long as she's on the internet, as you know, this is just going to be a thing. It's never going to go away. Most likely, it's going to get worse.
Yep.
And I know this
Well,
because
I mean,
I've been
I'm
on
not
YouTube for
yes,
9
that,
years, and stupid shit comes, right?
Okay.
So I could only imagine the nasty direct messages, the threats that come Gypsy's way.
Oh, is that the last one? I don't know. When I've got my next public holiday. Oh, Melbourne Cup Day. We get the day off for the horses. I was going to say, when's our next one? And grand final. Sorry, we've got another 2. We've got grand final day, grand final public holiday, and we've got Melbourne Cup Day. Because we like our public holidays.
Way. I believe it. I know it. Just by being a part of social media for the past 8-9 years. I understand that. So that's just going to follow her. And it most likely will get worse.
I mean, that is why she's
reality.
known. That's why she's known. But it's her story to tell. It's her case to talk about. And it's up to her to show her progression from the case into the person she's going to become. And that's all there is.
So we've got, so we had the King's birthday holiday on the 10th of June. Then we've got the Friday before the AFL Grand Final. Yes, that's what the public holiday is called. September 27. We have Melbourne Cup Day on November the 5th. And then we have Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
To say about it. I mean, of course, I'm not naive to the fact that we'll follow her forever. That's a thing that we're going to have to tell our future kids someday. And, I'm prepared for that conversation when that day arrives, but I'm here for it.
Yeah. And I think
I see the good and I see the love in Gypsy, and I know that she has a lot to offer the world. And of course, that's my opinion. Not everyone's going to agree with that, but, that is the world that her and I live in.
And you know what? I agree, like as far as being of sound mind and just a human, I want to wish well on her and you, and your baby. It would be terrible for people to say, well, we want Gypsy. I see a lot of comments. Well, we want Gypsy to go back to jail, blah, blah, blah.
She's talked about him. She could easily have said, I wish she'd get leniency, just as easy as she wished him luck on his journey, I think. Well, she could have. Her future kids, sorry, kid.
But
I wasn't going to come live, but I came live because this happened today. See, every day I say I'm not going to come live, something happens. I think there's more going on behind the scenes. I'm a bit surprised he doesn't think that he's done anything wrong by doing, the affair with Gypsy, or it's called, it's an affair essentially. and getting her pregnant.
We want her to, like you said, change and have that, like redemption story, the redemption arc story, whatever. That would be great. But you could understand why people are upset, and because she has a story, but Dee Dee doesn't have a story anymore. Nick Godejohn silenced with all his appeals being denied. His story shut down. So you could see why people are,
And there are people that have done a lesser crime, served more time, and they come out and they have to work a real job and
have stricter parole terms. Yeah.
Yeah, parole's hard for most people.
Aren't rewarded for major crimes like this.
And I'm sure there's
rewarded is a
Gypsy
way
haters.
that you can phrase it, but again, and like I said, and this is the way it is. Gypsy has a story to tell, and the only reason that she's got an audience is because people want to hear the story.
Well, what's up with their online behavior? Because it's troubling. It's a little bit questionable. I mean, don't you think? I mean, you look very uncomfortable when she called you Chad during a live stream. You're like, don't say that. Come on, quit it.
Yeah, because it's funny and dumb,
Okay, so like people are gonna look at her with a magnifying glass.
Okay.
So that's just what's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna
I'm aware of
happen
that.
until she's probably gonna decease and no longer exist. And I would hate for that to carry on to your child, but in reality, in these sort of situations of true crime,
do you like
there's
being a
other
Chad
victims.
though, Ken?
Not even gonna talk about that.
I'm just joking, dude. I had a crack at.
I'm pretty positive he's misguided. Yes, for fame. Like a beautiful girlfriend, maybe wife forgot. I'd like to see what his other girlfriend looked like.
Joking here. It got too serious.
It's funny.
I know that's what I was trying to say. Like y'all should, like honestly, guys,
There's nothing
like
wrong
fuck your
with I just
fuck
goofing
your
around, like it doesn't need to be explained more than that. There's no depth to that. It's just us memeing. That's literally all that it is.
Exactly. Fuck your PR team. You need fucking what the buck. Dude, y'all should just bank on fucking the Chad. Fucking bank on Chad. Fucking 10-foot pole, Chad. Like, bro, y'all already got it. Like,
I
why
wouldn't
the
do
fuck
that.
did you hire a PR
Charlie's
team? Yeah, you
Angels, is it
should.
the Chad kind of thing?
Yes,
Maybe.
dude, I've been fucking saying that. I'm not gonna lie, I did say that. I was like, that's the Chad.
Ken-
The Chad was great.
The Chad. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that stuff, but
I
Ken,
love that.
like, what is
He's crazy.
What would be the ideal situation that you would want for you, Gypsy, and your baby in the future? What do you want to see on the internet now or in the future?
I don't have any wants or expectations from the internet. I've already seen what it is and what it can be and what I can't change. And I think that in the beginning I had this very naive mentality thinking that I could explain and then bring people over to my side and see things how I see them. And then I realized that that's just not how the internet works. If people make up their mind and they're dead set on their mind, it doesn't matter what you tell them, show them, or talk about with them. It's just the way that it's going to be.
I was going to say something then, and then I felt better not. He said he did, Audrey. He did. He said he watched it all. He said he's watched and read everything.
And that goes true for a lot of things. That goes true for opinions about Gypsy. That goes true for opinions about me. I don't think I'll ever be able to shake away the whole grinder thing. That's just always going to be a thing, even though it's not true and there's no evidence behind it. That's just the way the internet works. Is once they lock in on something, it lives forever. And so all that I can say that I want is for us to look away from this kind of stuff, not let it affect our day-to-day life. And it's going to be, a court.
But it is going to affect day-to-day life because, isn't it? You just can't make it disappear.
That we have to get through. It's going to take time, but I want us to look away from this kind of stuff. Just live day-to-day life with her, me, our families, her dad, her mom, my dad, my mom, our families, and just live the happiest life that we can and make the best memories that we can. And
did he say her dad, her mum? Because she can't live with her mum.
That's all that I think anybody wants in their life. It sounds like a basic cliche answer, but that's just the reality. That's all that I could want for us.
So then, Ken, why not just walk away from the internet, which is probably the worst place to be
Christy,
if you're infamous?
Obviously. It's not about walking away. I can't walk away. I don't want to walk away. I'm happy and I love Gypsy.
Well, then
I
you,
love our
He's
relationship.
talking about the internet.
You can't, walk away from the internet, not your girl. Why can't y'all just walk away if it's causing such headache and harm, and all you want to do is be family?
This isn't a situation that is exclusive to Gypsy. This is a situation that happens to a lot of different people out there in the public eye. They've got a faction of people who hate them and want to cause chaos in their life, and the other faction that supports them and wants to see good in them.
But bro,
so
let's
Gypsy,
be honest. The money's good, right? Come on.
No, it's not.
Dude, come on, man.
I'm not making any money.
You're lying if you're saying the money's
I'm not
good.
lying. You want to see my apartment? I live in a one bedroom.
Ken.
Dude. Like,
I'm not talking about your band TikTok account. I'm talking about Gypsy's.
I wasn't making any money off of that anyway.
Ken, we know. You know. Come on, man.
No, you don't.
It's
know.
good. How do you walk away
know.
from it? Any human being would be like, yeah, I want that money.
Gypsy is telling her story to an audience who wants to listen, and she has that right to.
Yeah, but you're not being honest on the same breath, Ken.
I'm not lying
good.
about anything.
The money's good.
I've got nothing to do with the money. I don't know how much money she makes, believe it or not. I've got no part of that.
Does anybody here think that her story was portrayed in a positive light by Lifetime? Because I don't think it was. And I'm not saying that's down to the editing of or the production. I just don't feel that. I don't feel it did her character any justice.
I don't think they portrayed her in
Lifetime
a good
made
or
her
a
look
bad
bad.
light. I think they portrayed the drama, and that's it. To be perfectly honest,
it made her look worse, in my opinion, and that's just my
I agree with you, Apple.
Ken, do you you want to apologize publicly to Ryan for wrecking his marriage?
Okay.
Do you feel like no? But do you feel like you have?
Keep it real, respectful.
All right. Well, Ken, do you feel like you have some part in there? Like you're like, man.
Like I said, I have a lot to say on that, but I'm not going to talk about it now. Maybe in our one-to-one interview, I'll completely just let everything out. How I feel
right,
about
that'd
that
be
situation.
fair. I don't know how I'm going to fucking get a hold of you because I don't even know your email.
I gave you my email.
You gave his email.
1,000 people are going to send you email.
Okay, you want to add me on Discord? I mean, I don't know how else to.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Don't say it out loud, Ken. Just don't say it out loud.
Figure it out, man. Can you email me?
Okay, what's your email?
I'll put it in the back chat.
Put it in the back chat.
Yeah, good idea.
And I would like to talk to
X at Gmail.
what's her name? Gypsy. And maybe both of you. I don't know. There's my email back there if you could read it.
Oh, come on, but
I'll be fair.
Ken, I would like to ask you a couple questions.
We would love to talk to. I would love to talk to you. I would love to talk to both of you.
Rebrand?
It's not even like hell yeah. It'd be awesome, dude.
Okay, Rebrand. What's your questions?
Cool.
Ken, you game for a couple questions?
I'm here. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I like that.
As long as you keep them tasteful. If you start
her story where her mother in 8 months she blew up in marriage and got pregnant. Yeah, that's a good one.
Going off the rails, I'm not going to.
What's your Grinder password? No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
is Ken is the Chad?
No,
1, 2, 3.
No, I actually think the Grinder.
Ken
shit
is
was
the
shit.
Chad.
It's funny.
I love that.
My question
shit,
go
it
back
worked.
to the beginning
Okay.
since I was stuck in the back chat.
Peter says he does. Ken does not want to take responsibility in the breakup of a marriage. That says a lot. Yes, I think it does say a lot. At the end of the day, she's married, right?
Sorry, what?
It's been nearly 3 hours. No way.
My questions go back to earlier when you came on, because I was stuck in the back chat and couldn't ask. I don't know if you saw in the chat, I was begging to be let up.
Okay, who am I talking
Have you ever
to?
seen? This is Rebrand.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Gypsy's interrogation interview?
Does anybody have a name, or y'all just all go by like screen names?
No,
Okay,
my
anyway,
name's-
I
sorry.
just go by my. I've been
That's fine.
doxxed before, so I just go
That's
by a
Steve.
screen name.
Steve Wood. No, I'm kidding.
Steve, post a
Fucking
picture. Prove
fire.
it once and for all. All right. Anyway, what?
Have you ever seen Gypsy's interrogation video? The entire
I have.
interrogation. Okay, I was more empathetic to Gypsy before I saw that interrogation. I wanted you to know that. That's where my opinions on her changed. And I come from a unique background because I didn't have the same type of abuse that Gypsy did, but I did have abuse, and I did try to kill my mother's boyfriend because of what he did to me. And I did it when I was a lot younger than Gypsy, and a lot younger than when she first tried to shoot her mother.
See, he doesn't acknowledge the fact that she tried to shoot her either.
But I learned from that first time. Thankfully, I didn't kill somebody. I grew from that, and when I was 18, I left home, joined the Marine Corps, and moved on with my life and became a much better person. So I have a unique background, I think, when I ask you some of those questions.
Okay.
What's the question?
What I saw with Gypsy.
I'll say that I'm. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahaid.
Well, I was just say I'm sorry to hear that you went through that, and I'm glad that you survived. I think it's terrible.
Well,
for
shit
anyone to go through
happens.
situations like that, but but go ahead.
Well, shit happens. I grew from it. I learned. Fortunately,
Oh, really? So we can finish it
it
then?
worked out for me, and somebody else didn't get hurt. And
So it goes off the rails from here, and nothing sort of happens. Cool. I'm happy to end it here, to be honest, because I've sort of. So as I said, I think. So what do you think we've learnt tonight? Do you think? Sorry, do you think that Ken coming up was worth it? Do you have more questions than answers? Pretty much no need. So there's pretty much no new answers. Yeah. You thought getting married was your escape, SD? Yeah. I think it says a lot about nothing added. Sort of is just I think he is sort of gagged. The meant his co-signing. Yeah. You think he went to even it up with and don't forget that the woman they had up there before was saying that she was working with KJ. So anyone I've got to do another video on this. I might not get this done till over the weekend. But here's the link. It's the Brittany Higgins Linda Reynolds case started today. So she's trying to save her reputation, apparently. So it's going to, the case is going to continue until early September with a host of high-profile witnesses, including Reynolds. There's words that ScoMo is going to appear as well. But this was a case that tried to be settled several times. The judge kept sending it, told them that if it went to trial, it was going to be a train wreck for both parties, and Reynolds wouldn't settle. So anyway, I need to go. I need to do some stuff and have some shut-eye, go watch the Olympics. Linda Reynolds can go get tattoos with Gyp Gyp. She couldn't do much worse. No, that's true. Yeah, look, as I said, I just thought it was a very interesting, there was some very interesting things, and it doesn't feel like fresh. No, the weekend did come up very quick. I think now because I've got 3 really long days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I sleep mainly Thursday, and then I work on Friday. I don't know where everything's gone. Anyway, all right, I want to thank you for watching and thank you for joining me. And as I said, I wasn't going to necessarily go live today. I'm editing another video. I'm going to do an update on the case, but it's really hard because it's. I think when politicians are involved, it should be public interest cases automatically. But anyway, thank you for watching. And I will catch you next time. I need to go put my monetization on the video now too, by the way. Now that I'm live, I've got it back. Yep, so you can do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. Make sure you do like this. What we got? 22 likes. Yeah, and look, I might see some of you. So yes, she has been killing it. She's been doing really well. I've got to go watch that replay. Apparently it was pretty good. And I think Kat just spills on a little bit later too. So I might see you there unless I'm asleep. All right, I'll catch you later. Oh, sorry. Bye for now.